O yüzden kendimizden 6 sıra koyuyoruz.
GS, I'm sorry. Eu acho que passa também. Mas não queria colocar aqui, mas alguém tem que ficar aqui.
Çok şarkı da.
Geek. Geek. Passa também, coloca em sexta.
APG bence lobinin en güçlü takımlardan bir tanesi. Böyle koymak istiyorum.
Hiç tıkı çıkıp istedi. O ilerler. Bak dinle ona da. Takılışı çok güzel. Biz nasıl koyduk?
Então coloca o LF em primeiro aí. Não acho que passa também.
No VP em sétimo?
É.
Virtus.pro özellikle koçumuzun Apokalip'in çok beğendiği bir takım. Kendi bölgelerinde de çok iyi oynadılar. Onları 3. sıraya koyuyorum.
Cho anh top 3 đi.
A7? Ah, ô, pelo amor de Deus, né? Ô.
Rồi, full luôn rồi.
İlk 7'ye gireceklerini düşünüyorum. O yüzden 6'ya koydum.
Bence 4'e koymam lazım.
Ben 6'ya koydum.
Ben 4 diyorum. Wolves Buffalo. Ben 4 diyorum. Wolf 6 diyor.
Cho team top 9 đi. Nice.
Hoje. Passa. ET. Passa também, ele vai passar.
Còn anh Trung Quốc nữa. Cho hạng cao nhất còn lại.
DX'in aim power'ı çok güçlü. Ve bence bu fark edecek lobide. O yüzden 4'e koyuyorum ben.
Theo em đánh giá APG trong cái vòng Gauntlet này thì có thể gọi là ổn định nhất trong tất cả các team này, cho nên là tụi em đánh giá APG sẽ là vô địch vòng này.
Colocamos 8 aqui porque a gente acha que 8 vai passar. Tô brincando, acho que todo mundo tem chance de passar aqui.
Ya birinci olacağız ya da sonuncu olacağız. O yüzden kendimizi sona koydum. Diğer Türk takımların da yanlış anlamasınlar. Hepsi iyi.
Bana kadar Arun Turbat'ı çok nak çok takıwa 같은 애들이 Arun Turbat'ı nasıl çıkıyor? Kostüm de çıkıyor.
Bu bizim sıralamamız.
İzlediğiniz için teşekkür ederiz.
É nóis, galera, desiste stories pra nós aí. Boa 7, go Brasil.
Xin chào mọi người hãy ủng hộ bọn mình trong các buổi sắp tới nhé.
Zaten işte hamtesin bayırta.
The world converges. The race to be the one begins. The 2025 PUBG Mobile Global Championship will be held in Bangkok, Thailand from November 24th to December 14th. The ultimate stage where legends are forged and champions are crowned. Let's dive into this year's updated format. The journey starts with the Gauntlet, a high-stakes 3-day stage where momentum and pressure peak from day one. The top 7 advance directly to the grand finals. Teams ranked 8 through 16 head to the group stage. Also new, Rondo replaces Sandhawk in the map rotation, starting each match day. After the Gauntlet, the PMGC continues with Group Green from November 28th to the 30th and Group Red from December 2nd to the 4th. 32 teams are split into 2 groups of 16. In the group stage, the mission is simple. Finish in the top 3 of your group to secure a spot in the grand finals. Play sports through 11 and you get one last chance to stay in the fight. Land in the bottom 5 and you're eliminated. Once the groups are over, the final 2 grand final spots are determined in the last chance stage. 16 teams compete over 2 days on December 6th and 7th with no room for error. Only the top 2 keep their dream alive. After the PMGC League concludes, it's time for the final fight. The grand finals, the best of the best. 16 PUBG Mobile teams, including the host country, invite. Prove they are the one. The epic conclusion takes place from December 12th to the 14th. Who will rise on the road to glory, claim the crown, and take the lion's share of $3 million prize pool? Who will write their names in history? The journey to greatness begins here. Welcome to the 2025 PUBG Mobile Global Championship.
হ্যালো গাইস, ওয়েলকাম। আজকে ডে 3 চলে আসলাম পিএমজিসি গংক্লেট। দেখা যাক আজকে ডে 3 তে টপ 7 কোন কোন টিম জয়েন করবে ওটা আজকে আমরা দেখব এবং ডিসকাস করব।
Muito bem. For such today. Today, we will be sending the top 7 teams directly to the grand finals. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the PUBG Mobile Global Championship, Day 3 of the Gauntlet. I have Rebel here with me. Rebel, you guys are currently 9 points ahead of 8th place. After 2 days finished from the Gauntlet, what have you guys learned to make sure you maintain yourself within the top 7?
I think we learned a lot. We made a lot of mistakes on day 1 and on day 2. But it's everything fixed now, and we are ready for day 3, and we're going to qualify.
A lot of people in Brazil are hoping that you're going to qualify, not just Brazil, Americas in general. Out of all these teams here, do you have a rivalry with any of the squads?
I think all the teams are some rival. All the teams here are too good, but we know the first rival is us, ourselves. But we are ready to do whatever it takes to go to the grand finals.
Okay, well, hopefully that will be the case. Obrigado, mano, because ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned, that squad is just barely ahead when we're talking about the top 7 in the 8th place. I mean, all those squads are just so tight together, but this squad that I'm going to be going in front of, behind of now, APG, they are a bunch of points behind 7th place. I have Seal here with me. Seal, day 1, you guys didn't end up winning your hot drops. Yesterday, day 2, it seems like you guys adjusted. Going into day 3, what are you expecting? And do you want to send out a message maybe to OG with that hot drop you guys have been having in Chumacera?
За, зөвл танабагийн хувьд эхний өдрөө ерөөсөө буултан дээрээ аваргалж гарч иж чадаагүй ч гэсэн хоёр дахь өдөр зөгцөн наашаа гарч ирээд арай дээр тоглож үзүүлж чадсан. Өнөөдрийн хувьд танабагийн төсөөлч нь юу байна? Тэгээд магадгүй өвжи багт хандж хэлэх үг.
За өнөөдрийн хувьд гэвэл миний хувьд бол бодсон юм алга маа жийл мэдж байгаах. Тэгээд өвжигийн хувьд гэвэл байлдвал байлдээ бид бэлэн.
For me today, I don't have any thoughts or nervousness at all. I'm just gonna play as how I usually do. And towards OG, if you guys want to fight, we're always welcome for you.
Expected, by the way, no nervousness from a previous champion of PMGC and MVP as well. And you know what? Talking about champions, talking about MVPs, we got to talk about Regnum Karya, ladies and gentlemen, because this squad is also not in the top 7. They're just 8 points behind top 7. The main thing, though, is performances have been there. Consistency just hasn't been quite there for you guys. What are you looking to do to make sure you get a consistent style here for the next 6 games to make it to the top 7?
Takımda oynarken artık iyi anlarınız oldu ama maçlarda biraz dengeyi tutturamadınız. Bu dengeyi tutturmak için neyi değiştirirsiniz?
Açıkçası bizim oynadığımız oyun tarzı 4 kişinin hayatta kaldığı bir oyun tarzı ve bu oyun tarzını yaparken basit hatalarla oyuncu kaybettiğimizde oyunun devamlılığını getiremiyoruz. Bugün bu hataları yapmayacağız, daha dikkatli oynayacağız, odaklanacağız ve tam gücümüzü göstereceğiz.
So our gameplay is based on our 4 players staying alive, but with few small mistakes that we lose our players. So we try to more focus and try to don't do that mistake, and we will show our power this day.
With 8 points, with how tight everything is, you cannot allow yourself to have any mistakes because, ladies and gentlemen, this is day 3 of the Gauntlet.
That's right. The time for mistakes is over. The time to perform is now. The final day of the Gauntlet. We are here. I'm Hot Jukes here with Maxman and Neptura. Guys, if you've missed the first 2 days, I'll tell you what, it has been absolutely crazy, Maxman. How are you feeling going into the final day?
I'm feeling bloody spectacular, Hot Jukes. No, I'm genuinely so bloody excited here to get into this 3rd day of the Gauntlet. Top 7 will be going into the grand finals. They can skip the group stage, skip the entirety of the last chance. So again, you cannot afford to fail here today. If you're still not in the top 7, you got to go super hard today to make sure you can qualify directly to the biggest stage here of 2025.
Yeah, for the folks that don't make it to that top 7 today, Neptura, right, they're going to go ahead and go to the group stage. Maybe that's why Alpha Gaming is like, you know what? We're not too nervous. We're just going to have fun with it because maybe we'll perform then. But I think that's kind of hard to say because I think we're pretty surprised with just how far behind they are here into the final day of this Gauntlet.
I mean, I don't think anybody expected for them to be exactly where they are right now. Are they going to be able to come back? I mean, Ziol certainly seemed confident in that interview, right, Jukes? I mean, we're looking at them maybe going, hey, third day, nothing to lose. Let's just go for it. Maybe they just wanted to take all pressure off themselves. But I feel like as a world-round team, come on, guys, we can do better than that. But you know what? No use crying over spilt milk. We're back. Let's try again. Day 3. Let's go.
Yeah.
I believe.
I mean, technically, they're only 29 points away from being in a top 7 position, right? So 29 points, especially when you're starting your day off with a Rondo game here, definitely a lot of potential for them to come back. But APG prank, can we stop it, please? Please, IPG, step up. What's going on? 15th place, Hot Jukes. It's so weird to see them down there. Really,
it's crazy. All right, there's gonna say something right now that I thought I was never gonna say, right? And that is how crazy Kara performed, right? So much, as a matter of fact, that in just the amount of eliminations that they had yesterday, that more than doubled the performance of what Alpha Gaming has done in the first 2 days, right? So an absolute crazy performance. They ended up getting 85 points in total, Neptura, right? That is so far the best performance we have seen, right? Thunder Talk on day 1 had 77 points, right? So for Kara to clutch it up so big, I mean, just how impactful was that performance?
It's great. I love seeing that from them. It was so nice. Because they went back to the old strat. I keep saying this. I'm going to say it till I'm blue in the face. Okay? This team thought they could switch it up. They thought hey, let's do something different. It's PMGC. It didn't work. They immediately went back and went, actually, no. We had it right the first time. Let's do it. And as you can see here in this recap, they just went to town on all these teams. And frankly, the other teams could do nothing about it. So I'm not surprised we see as much of a point jump as we saw from them.
Maybe they realized, actually, we were quite good before. How about we just do it again?
We go back, yeah.
And you know what? It actually works in PMGC. Really happy with it. But no, Kara have been doing absolutely amazing stuff here in these matches. You can look at like some of their replays in these matches, of course, getting a back-to-back chicken dinner. Not only then, of course, Thunder Talk did do the same as they ended day 1 with a win, started off day 2 with a win, but respectively, here, Kara have stepped up. And it's so intriguing in particular to see them outperform their Turkish brethren, right? In particular, Regnum Kara, that so far has struggled to do anything. And Kara currently are the big dogs of this massive region that is Turkey in PUBG Mobile Esport.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to kind of see, like, how they're playing differently and how that's working out for them. But I'm a little bit hopeful, I think, for Regnum, because they did have that big win closing off day 2, that we are going to see them jump up now. Same thing with DRX, right? They got the win, then they went all in, and they're probably going to qualify now. But we see the overall rankings here, and it's looking so close. I mean, 75-76 between A7 and Dick Xavier. VP and Wolves 1 point away from qualification for Wolves. So I think we're looking at a very cool day here.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll tell you what, we're looking right now at the top because of just how well they perform. Big ups to them. Kara's with performance, it's been so good that we got to hear from them, right? So, Seven, if you could do us a big favor, get us a nice little interview with Kara and see what they have to say going into today.
Welcome back to a quick report with the 7WG. This time I'm joined by Poster from Kara Esports. This team had an outstanding performance in day 2, getting 85 points, and then you had CEO securing that MVP. What was the major shift you were able to do from day 1 to day 2, whether it was mentally or tactically?
Şimdi birinci günden ve ikinci günden neyi değiştiniz? Mental olarak veya oyun tarzı olarak?
Mental olarak bir şey değiştirmedik. Mentalimiz zaten yerindeydi. Potansiyelimizi biliyorduk. Sadece birazcık özgüvenimizin yerine gelmesine ihtiyacımız vardı. O ilk Erencil maçından sonra da yerine geldi ve lobiye neler yapabileceğimizi biraz olsun gösterdik.
Well, we didn't touch that much. We know that we had the mentality for it, but after we got the points from the Erangel match, we got our confidence back that we show our performance to all the players.
Oh, okay. And just one quick last one. With that performance that you had, now with that confidence, is there any team out here that you want to send a message to?
Bu özgüvenle bu turnuvadaki hangi takıma bir şey demek istersin?
Sadece bir takıma değil, hepsine söylemek istiyorum. Biz kupayı almaya geldik. Onun için de savaşıyoruz. Herkes ayağını denk alsın.
So it's just not for one team, for all of the team that we will came here to get the trophy. So I want everybody to be prepared for it.
I like that confidence. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Back to you because I'm hyped.
Woo! I'll tell you what, man. Seeing right now, Kara, right? Just to give you an example of just how crazy their performance was. Day 1, 7 placement points. Day 2, 20 elimination points. On day 2, they more than tripled the amount of placement points they had and tripled the amount of eliminations as well, Max, man. So you heard it from them, right? They putting the whole lobby on notice. And do you think they can replicate what they did yesterday?
I really believe they can do it again here because, again, they said during that interview, they built more confidence after the initial win they had versus the likes of, well, it wasn't really a win. They did get himself just so many eliminations. It felt like a chicken dinner versus the likes of R8 and then, of course, DRX in that Erangel game. So it's really good to see that momentum built. Is that going to transfer into today? I definitely do hope so, because right now, looking at this head-to-head, Niptura, they are currently matching the results of Thundertalk Gaming without 2 wins extra, by the way. 1 win went to Kara, 3 over to Thundertalk, and yet despite not getting those 3 wins, they still have 78 eliminations, out-fragging the #1 squad in this lobby. This is absolute madness from Kara. Again, this is a massive Cinderella story so far, and I really hope it's going to continue in day 3.
Oh, me too. It would be so nice to see and give everybody, I think, some really great storylines to look forward to coming into finals as well, right? Because obviously they are going to qualify. We will be seeing them directly go directly to finals. So I think it's going to be really cool, and it just goes to show you the strength that can come from controlling a zone, farming points around the edge, just making sure teams can't play their own game. It's such a fun way to play, and it gets those results as well.
There you go. Well, you know what? I do agree. I think that they have pretty much locked their position, right? Going all the way into the grand finals, but we still got a lot of slots that are still available. So now I want to shift our focus to that lower side of the leaderboards, right? Because we need to see some crazy performances like we saw yesterday from Kara, right? One team in particular, right? We heard from Revel right there. Alpha 7 did not have the performance they were looking for day 1 and day 2, Max, right? So what do you think they need to adjust here, especially going into Rondo, where they could have another big hot drop with R8?
Well, I mean, actually, yeah, I forgot about the Rondo hot drop. You're right. That was such an issue. I was going to go on straight into the Erangels and Miramar, but no, actually, Rondo is a big issue. And they've never been able to do really great in terms of eliminations because, sure, I think day 1 they got, what, a 2nd place with 3 elims? But Rondo, Hot Jukes, it's all about the eliminations because you have the recall system. You need to capitalize. You need to catch up. And they have 76 points generally here, Hot Jukes. If they get good Rondo right out of the gates, chances are they could already secure their top 7 slot. But Alpha 7, yeah, on Rondo, it's been a tough one.
Yeah, you know what? They actually ended up beating R8 out on the 2nd day, right? For the early one, Neptura, right? The question is, right, with how many eliminations they need to do, I mean, I think they have to take that risk, right? Once again, what do you think?
Oh, absolutely. You especially going into Rondo, you can't be passive on a Rondo. You got to take that hot drop if it's coming your way. You need to get as many points as possible. You need to build that momentum. Rondo 100% is the map to do that, and it sets the tone for the rest of the map, rest of the games rather. So it really is so important, I think, for them to take this hot drop in particular.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at also teams still in top 7 that have been falling. Virtus.pro. Stellar first day. Chickened in on the first match on Rondo, right? Getting himself 11 eliminations. And ever since then, Hot Jukes, to be honest, they disappeared. We have not seen any strong presence from Virtus.pro despite them dominating back in the CSA region, one of the toughest regions to perform into when it comes to regional PMSLs. So Virtus.pro, if they keep slipping, they just might not even be in top 7 after this next Rondo game. So Virtus.pro, I need to see more presence because as of right now, nothing of value happened for them on the 2nd day.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, man, we got DRX right there, only 3 points away from 7th place. We know they're going to perform here, Neptura, right? Who else on the leaderboard do you want to see get a chicken dinner right here in Rondo?
I think Regnum have a great chance of doing that. Orangutan as well. Both of those teams definitely need to have a really good first game, and I think Rondo's going to be the perfect one for them.
Well, you know what? You said those 2 names, and I got to agree with you. I got to go with the Wolves. It's time they step up. They had a rough day number 2. Can they clutch it up here in the final day? That is what I hope to see, Max, man. Who do you think can get this last chicken dinner?
I mean, first.
First
I
one.
was like, wait,
That's right.
the day went by already? Wait, I missed everything. No. I still want to say Ulf, but you know what? I'm going to give up on Ulf. I'm sorry. For me, they had time to adapt and bring up their top-tier gameplay that we know they can do, but they're just hyper-passive. A win is just not in the cards for me when it comes to Ulf. I'm going to go on the bottom teams that are going to get a bit desperate. I'm going to go E-Arena. I mean, they have Mormon, a very experienced player here. They're currently in 14th position, 45 points. Definitely can reach top 7 if they have a good game. Again, I know I said Rondo a lot here, that it's very important, but it really is in terms of how many potential limbs you can get in a good game. I want E-Arena Hot Jukes here. For me, this is the team that, again, for SCA might have one of the highest chances alongside D Xavier to represent the region in the finals. We need to see more from this squad.
Okay, all right. I think E-Arena definitely need to pop off, right? Them, pretty much, you know, Alpha Gaming, Ulf. I think if they want to make it into that top 7, yeah, it's chicken dinner time right here, right now, Neptura. So since we got a little bit of extra time, right, to talk about some stuff before we get into the first match, I kind of want to talk about something that we were talking about in the pre-show, right, before this whole thing started. That was when it comes to Rondo strategies, okay? We've noticed, right, a lot of teams are doing this 3-1 split, right? They're sending 3 players out to engage on another team and sending 1 to a recall tower to kind of hold that position just in case that team fails that push, okay? What do you think about some of the squads in this time trying to take advantage of that and pushing as a 4-man?
I mean, normally I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe that's an interesting strat. You take them by surprise a little bit. I think it would only work if they're not expecting a hot drop. But usually if you're doing the 3-1 split, you are expecting a hot drop. I don't know how much I like it when it's the last day, when so much is riding on you guys doing well. I think maybe for Rondo, where there's so much potential to zone for the rest of the day, I think that might be a little bit too risky for my taste.
What do you think, Max?
I'm thinking we're going to see something very particular coming out here, which is because you have Rondo recall, I think you're going to see teams hot dropping heavily here. This is my speculation. I'm looking at APG in particular, right? They're Yulin. Normally they drop as a 4-man. And no, Orangutan would not be a good idea. But I'm looking at teams that are currently comfortable at the top. You send 3 players and you just try and ruin it for them. And if you're lucky, you win that 3v4. Otherwise, you get maybe a few points. They get a few points. Even Steven, nothing really comes out of it. And you don't take a major risk by fighting and hot dropping in a 3-1 on a full squad. So I would like to see APG get targeted. And I say that like I'm not saying in a way I don't want APG to qualify. I would like to see them in the finals. But they are a threat. We know that. This is one of the best teams out there, usually. Not right now, but usually they are. If you want to try and get rid of them early and force them in the group stage and last chance, that we know as a fact Niptro is going to be way harder to qualify through for the finals.
Yeah.
Maybe this is your time to wound APG early on in day 3.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, that could be a strategy for sure, especially if
APG
you know, you are a team that has a
guys.
similar playstyle to APG. Maybe your rotations cross the same sort of paths. You know, you fear them in a way of
There's
kind
a
of
comeback
ruining
there.
your gameplay
Final
day in, day out. Maybe your wrangle
strategy.
strategy is very similar, something like that. I could see that being probably a good thing to do, just in case, right? Just in case you do go to finals and they are there, or you go to the next stage and they're also there, and it's like, oh, okay, hang on, we're now going home because of them.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and get this first match going, guys. It's the final day of the Gauntlet. We're heading into Rondo. Hot drop action is going to be at the absolute maximum. Let's go ahead and take it on over to John
B2B
Allen
plays
and Blake
Discord-এ
to
আসো
get us
ভাই
started here.
Discord-এ আসো Discord-এ বসে আছি
All right, we're going into
Hamim'er
Rondo once
Discord-এ
more
বসে
for
আছি
another round here. Match
Discord-এ
13,
আসো
kicking off the final
TV
day of the
থাকলে
Gauntlet. It is, as Hot Duke said, going to be messy. That's what we're expecting here. The hot drops have not been favorable for quite a few teams, but we've seen some big earners. Maybe it's time to make your move on the tables here and now, Blank. Maybe you can bid for freedom towards the finals directly.
I think hot dropping over towards APG. Personally, I don't think it's the greatest idea. I think they're a team with nothing to lose right now and everything to gain. So I think dropping on that team is a little bit risky. I think if you are secured, though, like Max says, like Thunder Talk, he could easily drop over towards APG and try and take out some of their players. And from there, you suddenly get a big lead. But again, this is the thing I was concerned about, is that I don't think APG is going to be dropping together at all. I think they'll be dropping spread across the map, which they already are. One player heading down towards the south side. You got a couple players over towards Mehran, around 2 of the players from Thunder Talk. This is what Thunder Talk did yesterday as well. They went for a 2-2 split. It didn't quite work out for them there because the circle didn't head up this way, but it does give them a ton of pressure on this side of the map. But already things are cracking on here in day 3 as we get our first knock of the tournament.
Yeah, Thunder Talk do have that hot drop. That is interesting, especially around that test track as well. We've got, looks like 3 or 4 teams maybe trying to find some points. I'm looking at the off angles as well coming on through. Arena, who are in this fight, actually have Mormon down all the way south by Tinlong Garden. Really very far away. That's about 4 kilometers away from this one, maybe 3. I haven't quite got my ruler out just yet. Oh, that's unfortunate on the elimination feed there. Over towards that main round fight, but there's so much popping off right now. Let's tune in with Coops on Wolves, who is one of these teams around the test track area, around that Neox factory. You've got that northwest point for Regnum Kaya as well. You can see Zedwolf on that mini map. So for potential for 3 teams to get stuck in here.
I do enjoy that Singh got so scared of APG that he panicked and ran himself over. You don't see that every day. Still shows that APG's got somewhat of a commanding presence. Eagles attempts to move up, takes a heavy lick of damage though, and at this early stage of the game, not like to get too healed up too quickly. 10k though, very low, similarly does not have any meds on board, but quite a lot of nades here coming through for the Wolves at only 2 minutes into the match. E-Arena, I think that there was a lot of talk about how this team is incredibly strong, very frightening team to go up against over in SEA, but here in the Gauntlet, they just really have not been displaying all that much for us. Now, that's the big lineup for the Wolves. 10k cannot find the initial shot.
But NC2 can on the cross, playing off his teammate. 10k goes down though on the flip side as Baton able to connect. Another spray forces him out wide, and now Regnum Kaya are going to have that third-party angle, but they're not even going to need to because Doran's there with the M249. That is 2 players down, but they've got those recalls down on the south side, so Arena will ride again. In the meantime, Orangutan have got Kara and R8 on their doorstep. Blank, looks like Orangutan have managed to find an elimination so far, and they get the res onto AKOP.
The difficulty here, though, is that it's 4 players basically on the same spot, because already one went down. So for OG, if this is a full squad wipe, then it is done for. Luckily, a Tanky has a slick off angle on the side. Will take down Ida. And now OG get 2 points on the game already, which they desperately needed from yesterday, dropping down quite a bit. That's a nice start for them. But they are up against Marth, who is a pretty mean fella. He's all on his lonesome.
I mean, he's on his own right now, but this is what I was saying. CEO just lines him up and knocks him down like a bowling ball to Skittles. They fly and they're immediately flushed away. Orangutan do have an outpost in Aru for those recalls, so they will be able to get those recalls in. It's up to now a 2v2, or rather a 1v1 for Orangutan and R8 on the inside here. They're off angles, looking to get those recalls going. Kara, they sidle on into the fight and they show that terrifying presence that we've seen from them yesterday.
Well, the Tanky goes down. Prestige already sending away for R8 to get the res beacon off. But I thought there was only 3 players there for OG. Showing us 3 on the leaderboard, but
He was really low HP on one of the health bars. It always gets me too. But yeah, they're not going to be there anymore. They do get the recalls, and actually not too far away, so there's potential to re-engage if they want. I would caution against that. I don't think you want to get back into this fight. Doc's here as well, by the way, for APG.
Yeah. Actually, for APG, it's a super tactical maneuver, which is to basically commit Sudoku over on that building. But in all realness, it does immediately get them res into Yulin. I think they'd rather go down as quick as possible so they get the immediate res beacon over towards where Top's playing right now, so they can fend off versus VP, and it works out. So yeah. I think that is just Reefus, to be honest with you.
What is going on? Top and Ziola there too.
Yeah.
I think they might have just dropped out. Goodness me. Okay,
That's what I'm saying.
Virtus.pro.
I mean, they immediately died, right? And then got rezzed on top of. So this is why I think it was somewhat tactical. It looked terrible. But it was somewhat tactical because I think Top needed help immediately. So he just gets the boys in with the parachutes, and they're able to take down VP. So yeah, it's a little bit tight, but they make it work.
Lemon putting a sour taste in Jafar's mouth there with a little shot down on the position. But again, these recall beacons just so game changing. And it's really what's allowing things to happen here. The benefit for the teams who have already moved is that everybody else is busy fighting, earning a couple points, and central positions are up for grabs. It's Stadium with Ulf and Thunder Talk as well, who moved very early on from Mayran.
For the Wolves, like, let's be real right now, 70 points is pretty good. I mean, they have been stutter stepping throughout this Gauntlet stage in terms of the points gain, but they are on 70. I think they're keeping up. As a North American team, again, there's not been much pride in the North American scene in the international format in a while, but I think you can be very proud of these guys right now if you're a North American fan. 70 points is great. Obviously, you also have Alpha 7 at 79, but I think that Alpha 7 is sort of a given, right? And I think it's nice to see another candidate here.
A little pick up on Takara.
From Americas, at least, for Alpha 7.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, that's... everybody else sort of lives in Brazil's shadow when it comes to the Americas region.
Yeah, exactly.
Still. So, yeah, I think that's fair to say. I was crunching some numbers before the broadcast, and I took a look at several of the regions that played an 18-match set on this same map rotation, which includes Rondo, crucially. And in general, 7th place averaged out to just over 113 points blank. So that's really where we're looking at in terms of where we're thinking that bubble will be. We had around 110 before, and that seems to back that up. So we'll see just where these teams are going to end up. Anything over 120, you're looking fairly solid, but that's going to be pretty tricky actually today to make that up from a 70. So maybe we'll see that go a little bit lower.
Ulf taking down Sighting, so the big hitter on the team down for Thunder Talk. Kara gets a recall off. The miss ball is they're down towards the south side. OG consistently rotating west away from one of the players from Kara. Marso keeps trying to get ahead of them to take shots, but they keep heading west. More concerned with getting in the circle here at this point in time. Circle moves it towards the northwest side. So this is the first time we've really seen this portion of the map in quite a while here for Rondo. A bit of a different play style for some of our teams.
These recalls still coming through thick and fast. Only one player down, and that is Sighting, who we saw just get eliminated. King wants to pull him back up because he's all the way away. Not in this fight at all. It's all up to AJ and Shing if they want to try and find some revenge here. And Scarface nearly goes down to the nade on the corner. AJ with another pop at it. Scarface relocates to the left corner here. And now plays back around the door frames. Third parties potential as Alpha 7 come on in from that north side. Look at Revo. Look at what he could do to Thunder Talk here if they don't make a move now. AJ knows about it, and this is go time. He's immediately breaking out, and he's being picked up. That's what I was worried about. For Alpha 7 to come on through. Tries to steal the point away for Scarface, but he's putting himself in the firing line of Alpha 7 as well as they sidle on in yet again, trying to make their presence felt on this fight. Scarface, Molotov on the door. That's going to force the fight to slow just a little bit, but no, the burn was good. And it's into the sightlines.
Yeah, very, very good pickup there. I mean, a little bit of prediction gameplay going on from Scarface in terms of the run out, so good understanding of the map as well. And now he gets to look over towards Regnum Kai. Is currently playing alongside with Ulf on this scenic view, the mountainside. Mad Bull's playing this game really quite slowly, though, on the northeast. Still waiting to make that move. And Kara continues to harass over towards OG. It's not really working out for either team on this one. I think OG just wants to disengage from this, but Kara is really not giving up at all. It's only 2 of their players. I think that both the players down towards the southeast side are just waiting for the recall beacon to come through. I don't know why Kara, as a 2-man, is chasing down the 4-man squad from OG. It's very interesting.
I mean, they've got the recalls coming through, so see if they can keep this one going down. We'll have to wait and see how that pans out for them. Kara, they've spotted one, they've spotted two. Uh-oh, CEO. I mean, he did them dirty earlier. It looks like they want to do it again here. You said you wondered why they were chasing them down. Maybe they smelt blood in the water. And those flushes come through thick and fast. CEO are going to be able to pick up the loot. Still, the recall beacons are here, though, Blank, and it's still possible for Orangutan to get their team back up. But it's a bit of a mission now. The recall beacon's much less accessible as the zones start to shrink. We're into stage 2, so they can break out to a blue zone recall. I think that's what WizGod's going for now.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a bold play from Kara. And I think OG just didn't understand there was just 2 players. And then consistently moving away from them. Again, I think for Kara, fair enough. You're really feeling it off of yesterday. So you're just happy to take the 2v4. But the fact there's no turnaround was a bit odd, in my opinion.
Yeah, well.
Either way, OG's... Yeah, I mean, they get themselves back up to speed, and they're moving back through the circle again, over towards that north side. It's not terrible. They get to the backside of Jiao as well, so there is possibility to move through here undetected and survive towards the late game.
The circle moves a little bit closer to that north side of Jiao that you were talking about. Orangutan being currently the only occupants of that stadium concourse. The road up to the stadium is also a major feature, Blank. The buildings that overlook it, really, really important. Very difficult to maneuver, I think, with Regnum Karya's position. For the Wolves right now, I'm looking at the middle of the map. Regnum Karya hold the buildings to the south of that concourse, of that main strip down to the stadium. And the Wolves currently sit on that road. And that is going to be pretty difficult to maneuver, but they're safe for the time being.
7 on the northwest edge. I actually quite like this spot from them. They get to control a lot of area down towards the south side. A lot of open ground, a lot of good sightlines for them. Equally, moving across from that east side is a little bit difficult versus Alpha 7. So it's not a terrible spot. Obviously, it's not direct center in the circle, but it's a possibility to play off the back of this one and get some presence on the northwest side. 2 shots from Levi's over towards Virtus.pro. I don't think he realizes that there is a whole assault squad coming through with the MG3, no less, on Aragon.
Spray downs for Nate, not going to connect for another. Virtus.pro able to get some points earned as they trek on into the west side of the blue zone. Although they have had their fair share of strife. The recall beacon starting to become a little bit further from available. Paragin has to stand up against the entirety of R8, but they want to run him down, and they're not going to waste any time. Paragin is out for DX Xavier. That's going to leave them on 1 player alive. That's Lambor, completely separate from this fight. He's nowhere to be seen, and the recall beacon's definitely not going to be possible for him, surely.
I think for DX Xavier, they do get a recall.
Found it. Oh, they found it. He's on top of one.
Yeah. He's good to go. Aragon looking to hold his own versus R8 right now and doing not a terrible job of it, but Amori moves around the side, will get a quick finish on 1 player. Now Voston as well as Malloy move up, but Prestige immediately backs up the team. Marth is down, so this is a bit of a test for the rest of the players here as the blue continues to envelop.
Test passed, flying colors there. Virtus.pro cannot find the opening, and they will go down. Our first full squad wipe comes through. Virtus.pro no longer playing. APG in the meantime up against Regnum Karya. A knock seen towards APG. They're all bunched up in and amongst those crates. You can see a lot of knocks sent their way, and Zedwolf has brilliant angle, but Zjol, a huge nade over towards Regnum Karya. 2 of them immediately go down. A rescue mission necessary now. Silas and Zedwolf need to have their teammates' backs, and Zjol gets across a sliver of HP. Healing can be done, and Wild and Loxy are not long for it. That allowed crossing has meant that Regnum Karya cut in half. A big opener for Zjol.
I mean, this is what allows APG to make these sort of plays, and I think that the best way to describe it is being quite disrespectful to a lot of angles, to a lot of teams. I mean, making that cross there is most of the time a death sentence, right? So the fact that he even goes for that is a bit wild. But I think APG, more than anyone right now, understands they need massive games. And they're already up to 7 eliminations. They can push this further from the position they're in. But I think at this point in time, you're probably more concerned with keeping players alive now. And I think that at 7 elims now, you can sort of slow the game down a little bit, get maybe 3 or 6 more elims on the game, and that's great.
You know, that's going to put you in a position for the rest of the day to catch up. I said at the end of yesterday that APG needed a massive game on Rondo for me to even consider them having a chance getting into the top 7.
Yeah, it is a very, very treacherous road for them. Thunder Talk, we talked about it yesterday, right? They did so much on day 1. They were able to keep things going on day 2 with, again, a solid performance, but not as bombastic. That limelight was stolen by Kara. But Thunder Talk up to 120 points. It's very likely that they're going to be okay here on the bubble. It's pretty unthinkable that they would drop down low enough, fast enough, or rather the other teams around them. Hang on a minute. Tune back in with this fight. APG and Orangutan on multiple fronts here. Doc having a crack at it. Oh dear, that's not gone well for Orangutan. Both of their 1v1s do fall by the wayside. Now Kara, they're still ever present in these engagements. Move up, Composer wants to find Doc, not landing the spray. All right.
Oh my god, this guy's the Matrix, man. I swear, it's Neo. Moves on side, he's still taking shots, gets a good chunk over towards Poser, and he is peeking up and down, left and right. A nade finally does the trick. Marso from the sidelines will put the final nail in the coffin there for Doc. Another nade through over towards Top as Top consistently tries to nade out a Tanky.
Last player for OG, and another nade connects. He's still got more. He's very, very focused on this one. I think Kara have smelt something there. They know, why aren't they nading us? What's going on? Must be a guy in that corner house, but CEO doesn't mind. He'll take a point. Doesn't matter who it comes from. Again, Kara just racking up these elims. 8 already blank. They are level now with Thunder Talk.
Yeah, I mean, for Kara, they should have that info. And you are absolutely right there that for Kara, they should assume that if they're nading that building, there's got to be a player inside of it. So Marso is quick on the uptake, will send a nade across himself. He gets a little bit of chip damage. It's really good. Yeah, now he reveals a player's inside that building, and Kara can focus on removing him. Considering he's on the north side as well, it's a good idea to get him out of the picture quickly. There's E-Arena, though, getting far into this game. I mean, Maxman wanted to see a chicken dinner out of these guys. It's going to be a little bit difficult. I think I'm more focused over towards Wolves right now on the south end of the stadium. This could be a fantastic game for them to solidify a position up towards the top of the tables in that top 7.
Absolutely. It would be brilliant to be able to jump on up there. As you say, 7th place bubble right now is a dead heat. It is the tiebreaker that decides it, and Virtus.pro at the moment are winning it. Those placements are going to come through. Mad Bulls, though, pushing into the north side over the Wolves. That is going to be a big challenge over on that area. Those buildings about to get hot over on the east side. Burning out with the Molotov, though. Alpha 7's making it plenty hot for GK.
I mean, Geeke is struggling massively. A Tanky actually takes shots and will pick up 1 elim over towards Paragin. Just great news for the point score total for OG. You know, grab those points where you absolutely can. Alpha 7 up to 4 elims now, just making some mad sprays through the smokes as Geeke groups up together. Tries to provide that healing, a real medic station on this side of things, but Guizao wants to send in the nade.
It's going long, but it does get the re-knock onto Kevin. Now just the one player for Alpha 7 to roll down, and he goes straight through the smoke. Blind as a bat, but on with the senses. Hearing with echolocation on that one. Able to run them through. Alpha 7 pick up a squad wipe. And another team goes down. Ooh, Tanky just diverts in time for the nade. I wonder if Kara spotted that run out. Yes, they did.
Yeah, I think they... Well, it's Ulf actually who sees it. That will be OG going down here in 9th. Quite a few teams underneath them as well looking to chase. You got Ulf, GS, E-Arena, Regnum Kaya, but they're only on 2 players. They had a fairly strong position, but Ulf was able to pretty much dismount them off that earlier on. That and the fact that APG took down 2 of their players with, like I said, very disrespectful play from them. But I think that APG is one of the teams that actually gets away with that type of thing more often than not.
Bulls moving in on the north side. 2 players have gone down. The Wolves, they've been here for a while. You can't just move in and expect to take a building from them. No way, no how, but they still have to deal with Flip, who's doing a lot against them. Will find nearly 2. Doran goes very, very low, but can't quite get the rest of the distance. No more recall beacons as well. They have been shut off a little bit earlier. That's brilliant for the Wolves to stay as 4, and now they're up to 7 elims.
Yeah, I think for Wolves that was a big test, right? Versus Mad Bulls, and it's gone very well. They tried to assault the building, sure, so they had the defender's advantage, but still, I think for Wolves, that's a very, very nice thing to see. And again, I think for a team like
Alpha
Wolves, who
7
maybe worries about their performance, and I think particularly those types of teams from North America do get a little bit stressed at the start of the day. Getting that motivation, getting that clear vision at the beginning of things as you head into those final 6 matches is actually a massive positive marker for them. And I think for Wolves, this could be a huge deal getting in towards the top 7.
Absolutely. They are champing at the bit for that opportunity. A direct qualification spot would be monumental for an, well, to be honest, it's the least North American team that exists, and they are doing the best. Stop.
Guys, যারা দেখছেন অবশ্যই সাবস্ক্রাইব এবং লাইক করে দেন।
It's fine. It's fine.
Look, the flag is North American.
That is true. That is true. That's undeniable. Silas seems to be pretty undeniable on his hold here, but Marceau's going to give it a good go. Stepped up. Yeah, put the pin back in the nade. Silas, what are you doing? There's a man in your face, and you're preoccupied with getting a flush. I don't know what that was about. He needs to pull himself together because Zedwolf now has to bear the brunt of it. And he's alone atop the mountain here, trying to play up against Kara on his own.
Then Wolf sends the Molotov down, tries to burn out a player underneath him. Right now, things are getting hairy. I think that, you know, Ulf, high ground, these two things go hand in hand a lot of times. So I think for Ulf, 6 in a rondo like this, I would probably predict them getting the chicken dinner off this game, if I'm quite honest. I really do like their prospects, and they've shown in the past they can make this work as well. It does feel like a lot of specific things have to line up for Ulf, though. In the meantime, we have these nades barreling towards Kara, creating small craters in the ground as GS attempt to assault this position. They're desperate to get out of the blue here, John.
Zedwolf solo hold against Kara. He's got that immediate smoke pop, got the shotgun around the corner, but can't quite land it. Steps a little bit funny on the rock, twists an ankle, can't connect. Second chance maybe, but now there's 2 of them, and there's the backlines to deal with as well. Zedwolf sent dizzy there as Kara mount to the summit of the hill and look to try and challenge Ulf across the way.
In first place now with 123 points. You thought Kara were done yesterday? It's not the case. 11 elims on this game, 123 points. Thunder Talk need to reclaim their position at the top of the tables here, John. But the Wolves are struggling now. They would have loved to have gone a little bit further. GS disengages with Kara whilst they were preoccupied with Zedwolf. Doesn't matter. Marcel's not done with you yet.
Oh my goodness me. 13 elims found for Kara. It is just, it's not stopping. And there's 10 elims for Ulf. The 2 Wolf logos from Turkey. Looking to try and go head to head, mountain to mountain. Who will be the king of the hill at the end of it, though? Ulf far more central. Alpha 7 with a decent run up, but they're playing as 3, and it's open ground towards Ulf.
It's honestly, I think that the biggest threat here is Alpha 7. And the fact that they could backstab on this one, because I think Ulf's going to be very preoccupied with Kara. But this is where I want to see the follow-through. I need to see the follow-through come through from Ulf here. I really do like this team. I think in the past I was very disappointed with them because I think Scarface is an awesome player, one of the best long-range specialists in the entire game. Aaron's such a cool up-and-comer, very, very skilled. Ketch was MVP multiple times in the past, and you got Solus, who's just been around for donkey's years at this point, all the way back on Digital Athletics. So I think for Ulf, I want to see some follow-through here because I think they found some renewed invigoration over towards PMSL EU. Let's see that continue here.
That's what we're looking for. More survival for Sighting. He is hiding down low behind the bumper of that vehicle.
Surprised he's still here.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but I don't imagine he's getting too much further. I wonder if people know about his position, though. That's what I'm worried about for teams not thinking about a solo on this angle.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of hiding from Thunder Talk over the past day, I would say. It felt like there was a sudden change in performance on the Erangel versus OG, where they started just roaming around. The OG were able to take them out. So I'm not sure. I think Thunder Talk, they kind of felt like they'd done enough, and then the gameplay has faltered from there. Koos is able to find sighting on that angle though, and we'll take him down. Now, Alpha 7 is moving up at the same time whilst Kara sends grenades over towards Ulf. So this is a very, very difficult hold for Ulf right now. A battle on two fronts.
7 have made the crash actually up towards this hilltop. A difficult approach, but it's been allowed to go through. Nice opener, but they're still playing as 3. Ulf do have Kara to worry about though. A potential for that one to get a little bit more messy. This south side needs to conclude as well, as nades from Kara make Ulf's life harder on this hold. Revel and Guizao already up, but Obscure is playing anchor. Scarface wants to stop him from doing just that. There he goes with the blue zone at his back, needs to win that spray trade, forces Scarface off the angle, and can't go down to the blue here. Alpha 7 can't afford to lose it, but they do have their side angle taken out, and now it's just the two of them playing in the rocks, looking for something, but no, one of them pulls, the next not coming through, and the shotgun starts to rain hell from above. Guizao not done just yet. He drops for a second, but Solus on the drop spray is able to find it. Ulf lose one in the process, but they take away a major competitor.
It's a quick finish as well. I mean, they needed that over towards Alpha 7. Yes, they lose one player, but they set up the smokes nicely. Ketch has been waiting for this push for the longest of time, but they just had to do it with 3 on that side versus Alpha 7. It was imperative that they finish that fight as quick as possible. But now Wolves have a massive amount of space to play with on this eastern side. They continue to push this in. Obviously, this position on the hillside is very, very strong and will remain strong for the next minute or so. But I do think for Ulf, there needs to be consideration of dealing with Kara soon. I like that Kara have this outpost in post as well. Pretty much a large high ground, just looking over to where Ulf is playing. What Kara likes to do a lot here, what we've seen of them, is get an initial knock onto the other team, and then full push on their opponents whilst they know the other team's preoccupied. It's a very smart maneuver, and it requires you to be very confident in your own gameplay. But Kara right now, that's what they are.
I'm just looking at the utility of the screen there, Blank.
এই যে ভালোই খেলছিল প্রথম দিকে লাস্টে এসে ওরা খেয়ে গেল
out against this high ground for long. The high ground will still be in just a little bit. Finding that opening knock. Playing up on the wall though, that should be resable by Coops. I mean, look at the number of smokes they've got. They should be able to play that one. As Marso does take a tick of damage. Here goes the off angle for Wolves yet again. Trying to strike, but they push him off fairly soon.
I think Ulf also understands now there is one player down, potentially time to try and get rid of the stall in their side. But Kara actually takes a 2-2 on this one. They know they can play this one out slightly slower. The circle is going to pull down over towards Wolves, and I think realistically, if all the players headed over towards this would be a lot nicer. Yes, they'd have less, but they need many when it's teams coming off from the hillside. You really it's still doable.
Stepping into the blue and taking a lot of damage for it. CEO and Poser's position now very, very tenuous. Getting around the back of the rock.
Wolf.
Very tricky.
Alpha 7 Kara.
Full crash. They don't have any
cover them either.
In the Wolves' pockets. And Ulf as well, just fighting for that second place. It's unfortunate. But we'll see what they can do. It's now starting to become a bit of a prison for our teams as the circle closes. That's just on the roadside. Right in front of the wall. That's what you're looking for. The spray down. Coops and Doran open up the cannons. And there is the backup as well. CEO flushed away. And now it's 2 players for Kara. Looking for Solus. Looking for Aaron. Looking to try and stop them from getting anything more done. But no. Kara denied. As it is going to be just one player. He hits the deck. Marso under pressure.
Doran will take down Marso, and that will leave us down into just the 2 Ts. But a great shot from Ketch over towards Doran. The headshot is strong. Now it's just 2 players here, all in the same location. If Ulf can get the smokes down, get up with some utility, potentially there's some good to be done, but only one more smoke left in the pocket. No more utility remaining. They have to do it dry here, John.
And they're going to be walking into a wall of grenades as well as bullets as they go on in for the fight. They need to beat, and they are playing house right now. The Wolves can construct a compound for themselves with those emergency cover flares, and there is just nothing that they can do about it. The Wolves, the battle of the Wolves at the end as well. All of the logos repping the dogs, but it is the US champions to come on through at the end of the match. What a close down for this game.
I mean, actually, the first time we've seen emergency flares being used quite well there in terms of the emergency cover. I don't think we see it used very well a lot of times, but right there, that actually was good. You know, it gave them a lot of angles to play off the back of. I think North America is going to be very happy with the way that one played out. But yeah, really, really well played. I think for the Wolves, there was that slight mistake of taking that off angle on the side. I don't think that was as necessary as they thought it was, particularly with where the circle was ending up. But again, it's hindsight is 2020 in those situations. Still for Kara and Ulf, despite both those teams going down in second and third place, I think they both had like high double-digit games on the elims. So everybody profited there. Everybody profited.
Yeah, those two high grounds were impeccably placed to farm points from the lobby. A brilliant result for the Wolves. NA hopes alive, maybe.
Yep, okay. Emergency cover flares finally being used as they should.
গাইস যারা দেখছেন অবশ্যই সিস্টেমটাকে লাইক এবং শেয়ার করে দিন, ভালো লাগলে সাবস্ক্রাইব করে দিন।
And somewhere out there, a bald eagle sheds a tear of joy, baby. The Wolves get a chicken dinner right when they needed it the most. That was probably one of the best rondos we have seen all tournament long here, Max.
Finally, a non-Eastern rondo finish. Yes,
right?
Finally. And a near stadium finish too, which is always very fun to see. Wolves, very early fights they took in Neox Factory, right? Able to hold off that position away from E Arena and actually winning that fight early on. They're moving behind on the eastern side into the city portion of stadium. And as Blank said at the end of that casting there, Niptura, finally using good emergency cover flares, which is so rare to see, it feels like. Finally, salvation is real. The cover flare meta is now real. Let's go.
Yes, it took them a little bit of time to kind of figure out how to best use them, but it really felt like they got their own. They got into the mojo of things right with this game. Really, really nice cover flares coming on through from lots of different teams as well. So very excited, but man, Wolves finally. We've been wanting to see it all 3 days. We finally see it now, just when they needed it. And honestly, it was a really well played. I mean, okay, it was a little bit messy. If I could be critical, it was a little messy, just slightly at the very end there. But the way they held off, the way they were able to just control, and go forward was great.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough, right? Great Kara did in this game with that performance, Max. They got the leaderboards, right?
Kara genuinely. It's not
একটা সময় লিড ছিল দেখো মাইক কেমন না মানে
উঠে তোমার মাইক মিউট ছিল উঠে যাবে
আরে না আমার মিউট ছিল না আমার অন ছিল আমি তো সবকিছু অন করা তারপরেও মানে কথা যাচ্ছিল না আবার ডিসকানেক্ট করে আবার
scenarios and they just try and find the perfect counter to it, especially in that fight versus I think it was Orangutan and Alpha Gaming fighting in that little container compound. And they just understand instantly the weakness, right, Niptura, of that position, which is, well, you're all going to be very spread if you want to hold down the containers. So guess what? We're just going to fight all your players one by one. Use all of the man advantage to successfully take the fight while taking very minimal risk. Exactly in the replays here. Kara, this is 10 out of 10 gameplay we've witnessed yesterday and now already in this rondo game.
Yeah, because because we've seen them win games and do really, really well with their edge play strategy, but now we got to see a glimpse of them in their CQC when they actually try and push somebody, when they try and third party somebody that isn't on the edge. We actually saw what their team synergy is like, and it's really, really good. So it's really nice to see that side of them come to light here in Rondo, and it just works so well in their favor.
And all the Wolves fans, right? All the Wolves fans for a second, right? They became Kara fans, right? Because Xavier started to push on them, and Kara ended up taking them out, saved them, and then immediately after we're like, okay, Kara, stop, calm down, right? And look at the hype, man. Oh, I love seeing that reaction because I mean, you couldn't have asked for it at a better moment in time. 24 points on the board, but look how stacked this is. You got Ulf with 20, Kara pull up 19, Alpha 7 with 13. This was a wild game, Max.
Yeah, I want to talk about Ulf. Finally, some presence, not just in terms of, oh, we get central hilltop and we just wait and get easy top 3 only placement points, no eliminations. No! 6 placement points, 14 bloody eliminations on board for Ulf. This is making me so happy, Niptro, because you said it for Kara, right? You wanted to see them play like they were playing in the past. I wanted the same thing for Ulf, and they finally delivered here on the first game of the day. And it's not too late. Top 7 with games like this is definitely still doable for this squad.
No, 100%. And I feel like they really learned a little bit of a lesson from yesterday's rondo, right? Because they had the high ground, they got sandwiched between 2 different teams, and they went the full-on passive approach. This time, they were not passive at all. They found themselves in the same situation, and they did what they needed to do. So really, really well done to them. As we can also congratulate Doran. Because 5 elims, he's going to be the MVP of this match. Love this for him.
We need to let Hodrix pop off here with an MVP of Dorian. Go for it, Hodrix.
MVP, let's go, baby. I'll take that all day long. Let's take a look at the leaderboards, though. Kara have now passed up Thunder Talk here. So they are just on a tear at this point. Looking down later on the leaderboards, though, look at that. Ulf right behind the Xavier now after that performance. Man.
Yeah, I was going to say Ulf from 13th position up to 8th again, but we said it multiple times, Hodrix, on a pre-show. It is still so close between these bottom teams and the 7th place rank, right? And now, one good game like this from Ulf. Don't even need the win, just a high elimination match. Of course, it's going to be a bit buffed up because it was a rondo game with a recall system, but that was enough to put them back in the conversation. They're a team that's still dropping. I have to bring it up once more. Virtus.pro, man, they had such a stellar first day, and it's just been dwindling from there on out. Virtus.pro, we know they have the potential. They need to capitalize because now everyone else is stepping up to the plate except for Virtus.pro. They need to do something literally this next game, or otherwise they might be out of the conversation at the halfway point of today.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally possible. By the way, you know, you saw the Wolves, right? They were in 8th place. They jumped all the way to 5th right there, knocking some teams down. That's the crazy thing about this Neptune, right? Is how stacked everybody is hunting down one of those 7 slots. It's going to get tighter and tighter as he gets closer to the end of the day here for that last position, right? With Wolves passing up so many teams. We got Virtus.pro knocked down, DRX, right? I want to talk about this team. Because when it comes to emergency cover flare usage, these guys put like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath on the market in this last game. It was wild to see.
Yeah, Dick Xavier really just deciding to go all in. Wait, Dick Xavier was it DRX?
DRX.
DRX? Okay, so DRX coming on through here. I mean, they did what they need to do, but really, I mean, we were so concentrating on all the chaos going on that zone was actually really tough. You had one massive high ground, you had one city held by wolves, and the rest was pretty open. So DRX did exactly what they needed to do. They had one shack and went, well, we can't fit us all in here, so let's build, let's construct, let's get some cover flares going. And it worked really, really well. It actually helped them survive a lot longer than they normally would have, and that's exactly what those cover flares are for.
It was a shack until they put down like 6 emergency flares. Then it became a mansion. Okay, very comfortable. They had a garage and everything. Okay, they parked the car. They were having a great time in that shed. But unfortunately, as you said, it was a shed. So it really kind of made it really hard for them to transition outside of that area later on in the game. But as you said, it kept them to survive a little bit deeper in this game, get a few more placement points. But it is still not the DRX I want to see. Even though they got a win yesterday, I was still not sold. I'm like, DRX still a little bit inconsistent. Not what you want to see from that South Korean team that we know can do great stuff, especially during BMIC where they just dominated that tournament from start to finish. DRX still need to see a little bit of presence. By the way, looking at these top 4 gunslinger stats, 2 players over 1,000 damage. You don't see that very often, but hits coming out from Scarface and Aaron, the rising star of tournament. And it's for a reason. This guy can put up numbers on the biggest stage here in PUBG Mobile Esports.
Beautifully done right here. I love to see just such a little bit of point sponges and big shakers on the leaderboards, right? You know, speaking of, you're talking about inconsistent Max, right? I just gotta mention it. It's gotta be Alpha Gaming, okay? They put up 8 eliminations in this one, and the big thing that I noticed, right, was that hot drop onto Thunder Talk. What do you think about that?
I mean, no, we're not dealing with this. We're getting the hell out of here. Which I talked to, like, we don't want to risk our first position, which I do respect to some extent. But no, here they instantly, as you said,
ultimate fashion title আছে mythic fashion PG mythic হয়ে যাবে আরেকটা লাগে
blood নাই blood raven
and then they were like, oh, this hot drop.
হ্যাঁ blood raven আছে
So
level
what they
5
did
করা
instead
6 হয়ে যাবে
another
অল্প
hot
কিছু
drop,
ম্যাটেরিয়াল লাগে
which was, I believe it was Kara versus Orangutan versus R8, and that actually
আটটাই ছোট না সবই আছে আর AWM গডজিলা স্টার সিএন যা যা আছে সব
Yeah,
আছে
they did, and then they
ওটা
were
13 ডাবল
VP as well. Remember when they actually got the recall and then VP were there suddenly in
ওর
the
মেসেজ দিছি
as well. So I really liked how they were playing, and I love the energy we're seeing from them. They just got
কইছে আর কইছে যে তুই আয় তুই
couple
তো
of
ওর
weird
মেসেজ দিয়ে
plays coming through just meant that they were able to survive probably as long as they wanted to. But I like the energy we're seeing from them. They're like being very, very aggressive, straight out the gate, just running around trying to farm points, and that's what they really need to do if they want to be still top 7 at the end of the day.
I would have to say, tell me if you guys agree or not, but okay, we were saying APG prank. They're so sweaty right now in game. I don't think they're pranking anymore. I think this is APG serious mode, and it's just not working.
No, stop that talk, Max. Yesterday, you said they were washed, and now they're performing good. Don't go back down that energy, bro. You know what I'm saying? Keep that energy, bro.
Are they playing good? I wouldn't say this was great. I wasn't so.
Oh, Kara.
APG নিজেকেই নিজে 15 নম্বরে রেখেছে.
I hate APG. Okay, no, I'm not going to. That's maybe a bit too much there, but yeah, for me, it's still not the Rondo I wanted to see from APG. Even though they were trying, like the mindset was there, but the execution was a bit all over the place. And Orangutan are like, Chumasera is ours. That's going to be interesting. The Miramars, you want to stick around for those because that's going to be pure cinema later on today.
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait to see these matches coming up. We got Erangel up next, though, right? And you know what? I will say, when it comes to Alpha Gaming, they're at a stage where they need a big match, right? It's not going to happen with a chicken dinner and just a couple eliminations. They need a double-digit elimination chicken here, especially considering just how well some of these other teams are doing, right? They can pop off so big. So I'm going to ask you this, Niptura, right? We saw them try to go for Thunder Talk. What do you think Alpha Game is going to do here? They're going to go for their tried and true, location in military, or you think they're going to mix it up at all?
Ooh, that's a great question. Honestly, the way they're playing, I could see them doing either of those things, to be completely honest. Because they went for it in Rondo, and maybe they just went for it because you do have that recall system in place. There's that little bit of buffer. Erangel is a little bit more serious, a little bit more, one shot only. So I feel like they're probably, okay, you know what? I've got it. They're going to go for their original drop. They're going to still do that, but they're going to rotate so quickly. They're not going to linger as long. They're going to try and get into the match as soon as possible. That's my take.
What do you think, Max? It's going to be that. I agree.
I was looking at numbers. Which team we're talking about?
We're talking about Alpha Gaming.
Okay, Alpha Gaming. No, I think they're going to go for the original drop then. Play C block. Oh, of course, that's dependent. The thing that annoys me with Alpha Gaming on Erangel is that they only drop in military base, like C block in particular. If we have a northern plane path, it really ruins them. I've seen them so many times in CSA Hot Jukes where they would just try and stretch their drop. And here we have Wolves on the western bridge, right? Or Thunder Talk on the eastern bridge. And you're going to have to pass them if you want to make it to your drop location. I think a secondary drop for them would just literally fix 99% of their problems. And they're just unwilling to do so. So unfortunately, they're going to keep going there. They might not clash with GS because GS, they've clearly shown that this is not worth their time. They're focused on top 7. Yeah, unfortunately, no APG. I would like to see that, but it's just never going to happen. No way.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, it might not. When we see them mix up a drop spot in Rondo, you got to bring up the topic, right? Especially considering that these guys have 31 points they have to cross in order to get into that 7th place position, right? That ain't going to happen by just doing the same thing you've been doing, right? So it's going to be a crazy, like an absolute Cinderella story if Alpha Gaming do somehow make it. I'm going to say it right now. If they don't get a chicken dinner, double-digit limbs this game, we're going to see them in the group stage.
Hello, bro.
I agree.
Hello, bro.
Yep. Nothing to add to that. We need to see.
Yeah.
We need to see a win from Alpha Gaming. Genuinely, not just Alpha Gaming. You know what? We're going to call out Fuse the arena. I said I wanted to see a win. Unfortunately, hot dropping walls in New York. There's their drop location by default. Bit of a weird call right there. Ulf definitely showing some potential, but Regnum Karia too. You know what? Still waiting to see that win, like a confident win. They did do decently well this game with that position west of Stadium. I want to see a big win where they actually put a lot of effort on their macro side of things and they're going for big breaches. That Miramar of yesterday was a little bit given to them. So Regnum Kari have not sold me yet on that potential that we know they have, Niptro. Because again,
लो भाई लो कर दिया गेम साउंड
They're the number one team in the world right now. But for me, the caliber of play we've seen is not number one level just yet.
অন্যটাতে আটটাতে কি সিনচান মিনচান দিয়ে আসছে
সিনচান
দেখে
ভালো
না
কার্টুন তো সিনচান দেখতে ভালোই লাগে
বাইক না দেখেন হাতে রেখে
the final fight to take the win. Cool. Then they use that momentum into the rest of the matches, and I'm just waiting to see that from Regdom. They got the win. We know what they can do. Surely that's put them in the mood to win some more, and maybe today we'll just see that from them.
Yeah, I feel like we're being very negative on this segment, but like the thing is, Hodrix, this lobby is so stacked, right? We want every team to make it to the finals, but you only have 7 slots, so we're going to be critical because all these teams have potential to perform on the global stage. So it's a tough one, man. It really is.
It really is, and it's especially tough for EA and Alpha Gaming. You got to get a chicken dinner right here, right now, or it's pretty much
আইসি তো ই নয় না গংক্লেটে নাই গ্রুপ স্টেজে মনে হয় আইসি
না না না গ্রুপ স্টেজে
গ্রুপ স্টেজ গংক্লেটে তো আইসি নাই গ্রুপ স্টেজে দেখা যাবে আইসি কিরকম খেলে পাকিস্তানি টিম
Put those recall beacons to bed. No more recalls in the Gauntlet stage. It's time for our middle meat of the sandwich. It is the 3 Erangel stretch that sits ahead of our teams now. As we head in from North George down towards Novo, we're cutting straight across the middle of the island. Nice and easy for all our teams.
A big profiteering off that game 1, which is always great to see for a lot of our squads.
Where are you? I am from Bangladesh, bro. Live in Bangladesh.
Really assist them in the rest of the day in terms of getting over towards that top 7, and for a North American team will be a hell of a result to go straight towards those finals. Like Max was saying, APG dropping down towards Millie Base in C block. It is tough. I mean, any team that plays Millie Base always does struggle. I mean, we remember way back in the day with Stalwart, who played Nova of Neuer a lot, and that sort of worked because the playstyle of the game was very edge focused, as opposed to teams challenging for those central spots. So from Nova of Neuer, Stalwart was just so much better than everyone else that they could effectively play edge play. It's not really the case anymore, and I think that APG does definitely get cut out a lot of time, especially because they're not winning a lot of these fights either. So it's a tough position to be in. There's been a lot of ego challenges already on Rondo from APG. I think Max is absolutely right in terms of them sweating. But it makes sense, and they have to do it right now if they want to catch up. Geeke, on the other hand, I think that they are really struggling right now, and it's more likely they're heading over to, I think it's less more likely, it's definite that they're going to be heading over towards those group stages. But it's so packed towards the middle of the tables. I mean, you can see the points totals here. It's absolutely crazy the way things are lining up, with there only being 11 point difference. 9 point difference between OG as well as DX. So it's a bit crazy. I was right the first time. It's second guess myself.
Yeah, you got to make sure that you're getting those number differences on and into the mix. At the moment, we're still looking at the high 100 orcs for the cutoff point, somewhere in that around 110 range. The more stacked the lobby gets, this is something that you were saying before, Blank. The more stacked the lobby gets, especially in the generally you see that bubble start to get a little bit lower. But it's really difficult to predict the lobby. It's very, very volatile.
Yeah, I think that again, and it happened over in PMGC because the lobby was so strong. It was hard to predict just because vying for it, and the same could be said here. I think there's only really
Pakistan's মানুষজন আমাকে দেখছে wow nice
is Geeke down in 16th. I think everyone else is really trying to pump those numbers up towards that top side. I guess you could say E Arena and APG as well.
এশিয়ান গেমিং থাকতে থাকতে কই গেল না মাইক বন্ধ করে বসে আছে
না না অন আছে আমি দেখতেছি
কি দেখছো তুমি
Realistic for E Arena and
DRX DRX দিতে পারবো তো দেখছি
এবিজি তো ফোন নাম্বার ব্রো আমিও জানি
we'll wait and see because right now
मेरे को भी पता है एबीजी पन्ना नंबर पे
that third game of the day it's where things are going to start
फिर भी हम एबीजी को सपोर्ट करेंगे
and we are hopefully going to see that from them, but I'm not holding my breath, to be honest.
কারা একে উঠে গেছে বাবা রে বাবা
হ্যাঁ
টিটিতে পারছে
কারা
দিছে
হেভি মেরে মেরেছে রন্ডোতে মারলো না হেভি মেরে মেরেছে কালকে
একদম ক্যারিয়ারে অবস্থা কে
19 কিলে চিকেন ডিনার লিয়েছে
Welcome back to a quick report with the 7WG. I'm joined by
আমি দেখিনি এতক্ষণ না দেখতেছি রেগনাম ক্যারিয়ারে অবস্থা
just got a win. Igor,
ওরা স্ট্রাগল করছে ওদের মেন লস হচ্ছে ওদের মেন প্রবলেম এটা জোন টোন প্যাচে ঠিকই কিন্তু মেন লস
It worked out wonders. What are you going to be looking to do to continue on this performance? Right now you're 15 points in eighth place.
Yeah. We just need to keep it up, the energy. Like our communication was good this match. Like you said, we played together like a block, you know. So it worked so well in this match. I think we're gonna stick to it to the 5 more matches.
Oh, I'm hoping it happens because I want to see an NA team in the finals, baby. Back to y'all.
There we go, keeping that energy up. It's exactly what they need. But over a 6-match day, for the remainder of this tournament, Blank, that is a tall order to keep the energy flowing the entire time.
Yeah, I enjoy what they say. You know, play like a block. I was like, yeah, you guys did. You absolutely played like a block there. Real squared out team, squared away.
ग्रीन में नहीं आए क्यों भाई ग्रीन में कौन है आईसी है आईसी के साथ तो क्लैश है एपीजी का
Not gonna find anything. Yes, Naya currently stilled slightly, but there is tension in there. Sure. Tricky. This is a replay of the elimination. Yeah, Thunder Talk, they found one player. Did give it a good crack, a really good crack around the stage there, getting those two, getting that knock and doing a lot of damage. But yeah, isolated at a building with 4 players from Thunder Talk. It's not like they're walking out.
It's always a case where in that situation,
Eventually, now
strengths are as well, which is
Hey,
the fact that they're able to work together as a team so well. And I mean, you do see a lot of times players will just run up those stairs solo and give multiple 1v1s, but that's not the case. You have one player jump far, and it's almost guaranteed that you're going to get that elim as long as you are tight and coordinated. So I think for Thunder Talk, that's nice to see. I think that's the big difference between right now Thunder Talk and Kara. Kara has good teamwork, but they also have a lot of firepower to back that up as well. And that's the thing that Thunder Talk is going to definitely struggle with over in those finals. Whether they can increase that firepower a little bit more. I think it's almost funny where Thunder Talk has played such a good game, but I think that Thunder Talk actually would have loved to go through to group stages and last chance just to get more experience, right? I think that is the benefit from playing those stages. It is way more stressful, but you get a lot more practice on the big stage.
It's
always important to go into the finals with as much confidence as you can find, and I mean, maybe that's the way to do it, maybe not. APG looking to try and farm some points here. Nerzed stays peaked for a little bit too long, but the wall just about saves him as he gets the bead onto top. And top has to divert away here. APG, though, very solidly in control of the bridge, and they'll give it up. And they don't want the points from Geeke. They're going to head on into the zone, get a little bit closer to center, not waste any more time on the south.
Yeah, kind of a strange engagement there where Nerzed and Top were just kind of looking at each other menacingly that entire time. It was about 3 seconds before shots were even fired. Like they were both like, are you... That's a guy, right? I'm pretty sure that's a guy. But I think giving up the ghost on that one's not a terrible idea for APG. They know that what they're struggling with right now is getting towards center circle. It's almost as if they're listening to Max as well on the analysis desk. So getting there nice and early is a great idea for them. Regnum Kaya in the way right now of OG, who have tried to get center on this one, and proud of them for that. It has been quite a few games right now where they've been struggling and playing on the edge. So seeing them get towards the center here nice and early is definitely going to be useful for them.
Regnum Kaya having that bit of a lack of performance here in the Gauntlet stages. They are the champions coming from their region. They have won plenty of global titles before, but it's just not being put together in the same way. That infusion of Zedwolf that we saw this season for them, moving into the
guys,
roster.
जो भी लोग देख रहे हो, जो जारा देखছেন অবশ্যই অবশ্যই স্ট্রিমটাকে সাবস্ক্রাইব এবং লাইক করে দিয়ে যান।
It's not really coming through in this Gauntlet stage. They haven't been able to find the fights they're looking for. It feels like they just aren't able to establish the same sorts of holds that they were doing before in the regional stages.
No, Reefus goes down again. Genuinely, this is the biggest problem with APG right now. It's just careless gameplay overall. DRX take a knock over towards Kaikse. Zedwolf will blow the vehicle and get the elim off the back of that. I think that for Regnum Kaya, the biggest thing for this team right now is I still don't think Zedwolf's quite found his place in the team. And I think that towards the end of PMSL EU is playing a really good off-angle playstyle, but then you're sort of taking that away from Silas. And genuinely, I do think that as good as Silas is, I think he might need to step back a little bit and allow Zedwolf to do that a little bit more. Because Silas is a great scout. He's a great IGL. He's a great fragger. He's a great off-angle player. And I think that delegation might be key for Silas at this point in time. Because just because he can do it all doesn't mean he has to do it all.
He is undeniably one of the all-time greats of PUBG Mobile. One of the most decorated players we've got in the scene. One of the longest-term faces. I'm sure if you've been watching international level PUBG Mobile for a while, you'll have seen him before, but you're right. It is not just about what he could do. It's about what the players around him are doing as well. And he needs to give some of that over potentially. R8, a little bit further north on the east side of Rozhok. As our circles close down to the south side. No shenanigans, no chicanery around the river. We are going to be fairly solid on this south side. The east edge currently mainly controlled by OG. You do have DXavier just across the road from them, which could be a problem if they need to move forwards.
Yeah, it's a pretty empty area that they're currently in right now. It's figuring out where they want to go next, but a lot of these positions on the north rotate as well as the south rotate are already taken up, so making those pushes is going to be a little bit difficult. Quite like Madball's position right now on the northeast side of Pachinki. This is a good spot to be playing in. A lot of options for them going forward, especially with a lot of teams not over towards their western side. Most rotated on the east, actually. So I think for Madball's, it's pretty free and clear for a lot of this game.
OG with an outpost on the south side, close to Aragon for Virtus.pro. With the buggy there, I mean, the runner is possible, but it's towards the opponent. If you get pressured, I feel like that buggy might just be a little bit of a bait to try and go for. Maybe a run out the back would be better. And yeah, I think this is a wise reposition coming through from WizGod. Already there are shots ringing out through it. Aragon gets spotted as well. A tank actually being borne down upon. No, Milky Way not going to go in for that fight.
Scarface finding Silas. In fact, that's from Ulf, who are dead central, and they will find the flush as well. Around school at the moment, both teams going toe-to-toe. Scarface up close and personal right now with them, but a good shot from Wild around the corner just clips him on the shoulder and will send him spinning. Will clear out school for now.
Teach him a little lesson for taking down their IGL, but now Zedwolf is going to have to be that off angle, so maybe we'll see him unleashed a little bit more. We can only hope. If you're a Regnum Kaya fan, watch on, see what they can do. Irina moving in to try and get the res, but they are still under pressure by DXavier and Tony K. He tries to take shots, but doesn't realize the threat is a lot closer to home.
Madball's taking out most of those elims, by the way. DXavier denied quite a bit there, actually. And they do continue to take shots from DK across the way. Maybe a little bit overzealous pushing in like that. OG smell blood in the water and will be sending across in the meantime. Get the rundown over towards Paragin. First vehicle elimination of the match. OG does find an entryway off the back of that third party.
Moving up, they are going to be moving towards Ulf if they want to go any further north. Ulf, remember, they lost a player early, so they are down one. Could potentially be an opening advantage. Actually, okay, they're darting straight across the road, straight between school and the compounds to the southwest. They're playing out in the open fields now, Blank. They're playing this ditch that, I mean, if you've played in these headshot hills for any amount of time, you're very familiar with them. That border that lies to the south side will protect them a little bit from Madballs. The question is how long and how tenable will it be as teams crunch in on the area?
Yeah, another quick rotate from them as well from the other two players. They got the anchor down, and then they pull the rest of the team across to them. I think that was a fairly decent play coming through from OG as well. I mean, they see that DX Xavier is under threat. They immediately roll over that way. They can see that a lot of that area has been taken. It was multiple teams going down, so they assume that area was fairly clear and free. So they just push across. So again, very nice play. I think for Mad Balls, they have the slightly better position here, and it looks like they're not willing to just give up this area for free either, as they send Lemon up front. Funnily enough, this is like one of Lemon's most famous areas of the map as well. Multiple insane grenades he's sent across in this location. So if you're OG, you're going to be slightly worried about those coming towards you.
And he's flexing out to that northeast side of things. Next circle popping in just a few seconds as well. We'll see where we're going to divert to. And actually, this waves the teams out on the north side, and OG as well, with a really good look in on this circle with the position they've got. Wouldn't be too surprised to see Mad Balls maybe try and push into the two buildings across the road, but for now, it might be better to bide their time, especially when they're being crashed on. Southeast side, they make a quick move up to the compounds, and now Mad Balls have more fish to fry.
Yeah, it's a really good spot for OG now. One of the best spots, in fact. A lot of cover to be had. A little bit of smoke will have to be expended, but Wolves make a crash on towards the seaside, which is going to absolutely lock down the Mad Bulls. They won't be making that cross. They'll have to get rid of the Wolves early, so the expenditure of nades is needed. This is very fortuitous for OG now.
They're having a great time on the north side. Can they get a couple of those points as well if they can steal one or two away from the fight, or maybe even claim one for themselves? That'll be great news for their points tally. That fight around the bubble is really important. APG losing Ziol there on the off angle, not going to be able to win that challenge, and Virtus.pro will continue to move through. Leave them in the dust, let the blue zone do the work. The heavy lifting not necessary on their part, but Milky Way is down. I don't think they've got him in a vehicle. I think they've left him behind. Yeah, they're not going to be moving in with 4. So 3 players now for Virtus.pro.
I mean, it's pretty telltale, that situation of just like the dichotomy between Virtus.pro as well as APG, is that when Virtus.pro is rotating there, when they're taking the fights, they're taking the fights with 3 or 4 players. And every time we saw APG fighting there, it was a solo, right? A solo trying to make a solo play, the hero play. And I think APG needs less of that. The teamwork just isn't quite there yet.
It's unfortunate. I mean, you kind of expect it to be, though, right? Like, this is a team of veterans for years and years, right? They should be playing better, all things considered.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not good.
You do expect the solo plays. The man on your screen on the right, at least.
Yeah, well, maybe they all want to lose the line. Lustrous performance from APG so far, and they've got GS just over the line to the front. It's difficult to crest over and take shots down. You expose yourself to so many angles. If you're GS, you can't risk going too far forwards. We'll see what more they can do. Mad Balls. Oh, okay, they find an over towards Wolves.
এটা তো ইয়েও তো নিচে বাড়া
They've been okay for a while now.
Host country to Thailand.
First flush coming through.
Host country Thailand.
ওটা জানি ইয়ে থাকে
Thailand বলে নাই
এত বাজে কে এটা তো এত বাজে অবস্থা কে Wolf শেষ
What a jump out coming through from Lemon.
Moving in, they're already on this roadside.
OG অনেক ভালো পজিশন
Their full squad, but they're still
নেই
going to do
একদম
damage.
সেন্টার
Bulls have to worry now more.
ওজি কততে 11 তে
11 তে আছে ম্যাচ বের করতে পারলে তো মনে করো যে টপ 7 এর মধ্যে ঢুকে যাবে এপিজি এর কাছে এখনো চান্স আছে যে ম্যাচ বের 50 পয়েন্ট
An awkward position to get into. Luckily, the vehicle's already.
APG তো রোটেশন তো সবকিছু ঠিক আছে বাট ঠিক তো
ম্যান লস করে দিয়েছে রোটেশনে ম্যান লস করে দিয়েছে আর জিয়াল হুদাই মেরেছে বোকা চলে
a lot of points off the back of this, but are struggling to find those eliminations.
বাবার বাবা
for them to do that, and you're right with Ulf moving in to their route out into the open.
পিচির কোনো চিন্তা নাই, কারারও কোনো চিন্তা নাই, এদের দুজনের কোনো
না।
চিন্তা নাই, এরা কোয়ালিফাই ফাইনালের জন্য।
Difficult with DRX as well in the background.
আলফা 7 এর তো চিন্তা নাই দেখতেছি
না, ওদের চিন্তা আছে, 6 নম্বরে আছে ওগামারা, কাট অফ যাবে 100 কাট অফ,
ডিএক্স সাথে
100 কাট অফ যাবে, 100 পয়েন্ট
100 পয়েন্ট বাদ
100 কাট অফ যাবে বলতে গেলে 100 বাদ না, প্রায় অলমোস্ট টপ 7 এর সবগুলো টিমেরই 100 পয়েন্ট থাকবে, নিচের গোলানোর প্রায় ওরকমই থাকবে, যে 100 পার করে দিবে সে মনে করো কোয়ালিফায়ার চান্স থাকবে তার, কারণ অলমোস্ট সবগুলো টিমেরই সেম পয়েন্ট।
Back on. King across the road still has not made that dash. The smokes have started to run bare as Revo picks up the point. DRX though, the major profit makers there. Kaya as well. Hang on a minute. They're checking in. Got Wild.
Imran. Wairu. Imran.
Deal with Kara, but CEO he's able to claim a point. Looks
Imran.
as well with the auto shot. He pops the reload.
শালা শুনে
Find the nade on in.
Oh my days.
Leaking.
CEO once again the big earner on the team. Looking to put more points on the table. Nade down the stairs. Already 2 found in a 1v4.
CEO, Chief
Kara
Elimination Officer. Kara have their front man. He's dropping down the stairs. He wants to take the fight in. No. Backing off. He's giving them the slip. Oh, he's playing this one pretty crazy. And Xavier have joined the party now, Blank. They've moved on in. You can see Levi's now up on the lineup. You've got Lambor as well on the south. They need to push through this. The circle sits on these buildings. The only respite is inside.
Oh gee, the arbiters of this.
আরে বাবা পুশ মুশ দে, মেরে দে, শেষ কাহিনী, এত ওয়েট করলে হয়।
You do want more
বাইরে আবার
points.
ডিএক্স
Points are just being siphoned by teams that keep rocking up towards this location. I think
Lamborghini.
the warehouse here it seems.
কোপাচ্ছে
Rather than clearing out this position. Shots on the side.
ভিয়েতনাম তোমার ভালোবাসা।
Very long range.
বারা
From Loxy there. Good pick up from OG. They will steal away that elimination, which is what we were looking for.
দেখলে মেজাজটা গরম হয়
In the C-suite there. He is not having the greatest of times. I mean, Mad Bulls, 2 of them, he's already dealt with 2 of them, sure, but that just means that the Mad Bulls aren't going to present as many angles to them. Normally, if you're playing as 4-1, you're rushing up those stairs, you're turning those corners, maybe you accept a knock, maybe 2. But when you're playing as 2, it's much more cautious.
আর ইজের জন্য বেস্ট, ভালো জায়গা স্কুলের ই থেকে মারতে পারবে।
So it comes out into some horrid landscape, by the way. Moving away from the headshot hills into just the hills. Very open space around that area as well. It's going to be difficult to play. I think Regnum Kari actually gets very lucky on this one. Despite them being all the way on the eastern side of the map, they still have a lot of school to play around with. And a lot of other teams are going to be in danger just purely because the amount of caution that's needed whilst rotating in towards the circle is very high. You see that absolutely no team wants to play in the center of the map right now, and it makes massive sense why.
It's coming through from Levi's to try and get a hurry up on that fight because they need to leave as well. Alpha 7 trying to crest the ridgeline. CEO, we got 1, but he wasn't quite good enough for the full 4-piece, unfortunately. Zedwolf is going to be swarmed on as DRX descend from the high ground as well. He's an outpost for Regnum Kaya. They aren't going to be able to pick him back up. That's Regnum Kaya down to 1 player. Try to extract value from this game and spread themselves too thin. R8 as well, moving into the hills. Alpha 7 making that dash. Everything is popping off now, Blank, as the Mad Bulls on the south are suffering from the blue zone. Revo looks for Marth as he sends over the back of the buggy, up straight back into the front seat, tries to get away, but there's too many Alpha 7 players littering around him.
Yeah, very concerned about that push from Marth there. I think he's getting a little bit too big for his boots. APG also will chime in.
এই স্মোকারের নক দিলেই শেষ।
I do think Alpha 7's the big story here right now. The fact they were able to dismount DRX from that top side, DRX opts to head down towards school. Yes, it's a very strong spot, and they do want
শেষ না বেশি দূরে না
to me that Alpha 7 was able to get away from all of this action and still make control.
দেখেছো 105 111 124 133 আলফা সেভেনও এখন 100তেই হিট করবে নিচে উলফেরও 9 পয়েন্ট হলে 100 ওই জন্য কাট অফ 100 এর উপরে ধরা লাগবে
এপিজিতে বাইচে আছে কে টপার ডগ
হ্যাঁ না না ডগ টপার ডগ না না টপ মনে মরে
টপার ডগ
ডগ বেঁচে আছে তাই দেখলাম আর আরেকজন মনে কি বলছে এটাকে
রুফাসা যে দেখলাম না
Yeah, it's tough rollout now to make from OG. They made themselves known over towards GK as well, weren't able to secure that full flush over towards them, so they know where they're coming from, and they are coming out from a small loop on the hillside into open area.
Oh, hey, top and dog.
Still going strong with Doc and Top though. This dynamic duo from the team. You know, the only two players that actually respect one another.
So it would seem. At the moment, anyway, right up to the edge of the zone now. Nobody playing the middle because nobody can. It is a death sentence to move out into the open. Alpha 7, probably the team with maybe the best shot taking this one. Them and OG, the two teams that are going to have a good time.
OG'র কাছে সুবর্ণ সুযোগ
despite the fact that they did
গিকের কাছেও সুবর্ণ সুযোগ Zone access.
Yeah, I think the difficulty for OG right now is that although they play this game pretty well, it's coming out from that lip that's very difficult. Right, you are going out to open ground, so you know OG could play this game really well and make a quick maneuver, but that's the only thing I do worry about for them at this point in time. DRX continues to send outposts forward. Revo goes down, so that's going to delay Alpha 7 quite a little bit.
Odi Basai.
Need in from Hyunbin and actually coming to the TK as well. Oh, this is nasty.
IQ. আচ্ছা IQ এটা কি ইন্ডিয়ান টিম নাকি?
হ্যাঁ IQ OG Orangaran IQ স্পন্সর।
আচ্ছা OG এটা।
হ্যাঁ।
ওর টিমে এত IQ আর 1+ এরিয়া টিম বোঝা যায়। অনেক টিম।
1+ আছে।
Yeah, again, like I was saying, this is such a horrible rollout for OG. You really can't make it happen very well, and I think the fact they held out in this position for so long is already quite admirable. But yeah, as soon as you have to leave from this spot, it's just death.
Yeah, they transition there, just not possible. Away from that area.
OG অনেক লেট করছে রোটেশনে বের হতে। বইসেই আছে ওরা বলদের মতো।
ফার্স্ট সেই জায়গাটা লইতে পারলে চান্স ছিল।
হয় যে তোদের কাছে তো কেউ ছিল।
হয় আলফা 7 এখন এটা আলফা 7 এর চিকেন চান্স বেশি। গিক কত ভালো টিম না।
Still a 4th place. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. You get far into the game.
Alpha 7 এর ফুল টিম সার্ভাইভ করছে।
Alpha 7 এর কথা DRX আছে ওটা তো বলো।
DRX এর দুই
DRX বাইচে আছে না তাহলে ইয়া নিচে নেমে গেছে। DX নেমে গেছে।
ইরে মারবে।
DX নাই।
DRX হচ্ছে গিক রে প্রেসার ক্রিয়েট করবে। মাঝখান থেকে চিকেন নেবে ওই আলফা 7 ওজি দুইটা বেঁচে আছে তো ভাই কি সার্ভাইভ করে না কইছি
of Wizco and KMP. It is going to be those little underhand lobs though coming from Alpha 7, which will be treacherous for GK in the coming moments.
They've got literally nothing to play on that south side. Let's see what they've got here. DRX as well. They don't have any nades, which is pretty important here. Means GK are a little bit safer. Alpha 7
no.
Try and their ordnance forwards.
Nice.
Nade over to obscure. That is a big pickup. GK, they've taken down Ulf already this match, so they've got to be feeling themselves. Ragnarok potentially moving into danger.
It got hard.
It will be faded away from the health bars.
It's hard. Not nice.
Red knock back.
Are
hey Joji, hey.
Oh yeah, geek. Show roise. শেষ
immediately and hit the deck once more.
শেষ সৌদি শেষ
Pay the ultimate price for it. Maybe another point earned, but fourth place
Alpha
will
7 এর
be
chicken এর
where they find
আইতাছি
themselves drawn to a close on the game. DRX moving
নক দিয়ে দিছে গো গিকির আচ্ছা আরেকটা নক ট্রেড নক
টু গিগে চিকেন গিগে চিকেন নাকি হ্যাঁ গিগে চিকেন
গিগে চিকেন
থেকে গিগ চিকেন নিয়ে নিল ছি ছি ছি ইজি ছিল আলফা 7
ইজি ছিল মানে আলফা 7 হুদ্দাই নেট কুপ করে হাতে ধরে বসে ছাড়স না টানা নেট কর বলো
of APG and E Arena, so it's I said at the beginning of the game that they were massively lagging behind everyone else, but you know at least they can, if they end Gauntlet in top 7 it would be insane. But if they end top 7 out of it, at least they can say that they weren't the worst team by a mile.
I mean, this is really monumental, not just for their points tallies, but for confidence, right? It's like they can do it. We are able. We have that possibility. Alpha 7 denied as well. That was unfortunate. Felt like it kind of got away from them there. Not quite able to close down that high ground. But GK, a miraculous turnaround in the open field. A crash, a full 4v4 against both we saw have that performance in that last game. They were able to win it out. They transitioned into the open field when we thought it was impossible. My goodness, what a close down.
Yeah, very well done. Let's see what the desk had to say about that game.
EK get the chicken dinner all the way from the bottom of the leaderboards. We were talking about how those teams at the bottom needed a chicken right here, right now, Max. The question is this just too little, too late?
Maybe it is, but I don't think it is. I think this is the light at the end of the tunnel here coming out from GK. A win when they desperately needed it and they finally secure it. And you know what? The plays here were so aggressive, so confident from GK, looking like a completely different squad compared to what we saw in the first 2 days of the Gauntlet. But there's one play in particular I know you're very passionate about. That send on the ridge here was the big game-winning play from the entirety of GK.
It was so nice, and I want to point out they were not worried about OG behind them at all. Not at all, because they were looking at A7, back turned around. OG were nothing to them because A7, they knew that the moment that OG tried to take any shots onto GK, A7 would have their back because they would just shoot over the top. So it's a really well thought out play to actually go just send straight to the middle over to A7 rather. Yeah. And it worked out. I mean, Saf G with 1,000 damage coming in here. The whole squad just really putting up the Zelims to back up that win. Great stuff.
It feels like the situation you're talking about, OG and Alpha 7, is the enemy of my enemy is my friend for now. But just for now. Later on we'll start fighting again, but for now you're going to help us out. And it was definitely a great game plan, perfectly executed. I even want to take you a bit earlier, right? That push onto Ulf, they knew how valuable that little dip position north of the orangutan warehouse was going to be. They take it very early on to make sure they don't get third-partied by any stragglers on the side. So happy with GK. Is this going to be a flash in the pan? That's a question we do have to ask, because we've seen it for a few other teams, right? They get one big game and then kind of disappear. GK, this puts you back in a race. You can't afford to disappear. You need to stay present. We need to see more points coming out on board if you want to make it in the last final stretch here, Hot Jukes, in the top 7.
Yeah, I would say this, right? It's not the nail in the coffin for them, right? But I will say, with that win, that hammer's still in the air. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you got to do a whole lot here if you want to make it into top 7. But, I mean, it couldn't have been at a better time for GK. The question is, though, right? GK win this game. I gotta talk about it though. OG towards the end, right? They had that southern position, right, for so long. What do you think they should have done? Do you think they did the right thing on just kind of holding that spot, or should they have made that push onto GK, Max?
I think they should have pushed onto GK a little bit early, actually. They were eventually going to be forced out of this warehouse position, which was very comfortable. Like, you can even see in these replays, right? Fighting Mad Balls, there's Wolf, there's even Xavier, getting the easiest time to pick off those fights. But then they got a little bit too passive, a little bit too complacent in that position. I think if they sent them to PK, chances are this would have been an Orangutan win, but this is the issue I do see with Orangutan every once in a while. They're just a little bit too passive. Sometimes you got to take that gamble. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Orangutan, I want to see them take fights because we know, right, Niptura, this is a team that can take big fights. AKOP, Aru, WizGod in particular, all had great moments. I want to see them use that fragging potential to at least try and claim these wins in big fashion.
Yeah, and what confuses me even more about this play from OG, like just the hesitancy to do something about Geeky, is that's totally against their own playstyle, against their own strategy. We see them time and time again normally just being able to spread out and take all those fights, and they just aren't doing it. But now we see top 4. These rotations, they got to be something else, right? Like,
I mean, look
Geeky, how did they win from there?
Exactly, I was waiting for this graphic. This is a Novo team. If whoever says in chat they got gifted circle, I'll find your address, okay? We're gonna have a little conversation, okay? Because these guys were rotating all over the place, entering the southern side, Milter going into farm, around Pachinki, and you can see the way they were going for, the positions they were aiming for every single circle shift. The scouting was so well executed, Niptura. They were getting so much intel off the back of those little rotates, little leapfrogs into the circle, seeing what's valuable, well, team's position, and just time was the most impactful for them in these matches. Scouting, we keep saying it, it's so important, and Geek in particular here really showed that it can win you games on its lonesome.
Absolutely, and DRX doing the exact same thing. They grabbed that high ground on the top of Roshawk there, and then swept down onto Regnum Karya with the school area, and then we're just able to push in like that. It didn't get them the win, sure, but it definitely got them 14 eliminations. So again, love what we're seeing here from DRX. It's controlling, it's aggressive without going overboard. So it's really nice to see that from them too.
Man, that rotation from Alpha 7 too was wild. From North George all the way to Stallberg, right? And then they make it on down the way. I love that graphic. Definitely breaks things down for us, just how crazy these rotations are, right? I will say though, with that school field finish, Max Man, how bad do you think these players were missing those emergency cover flares, huh?
I keep saying it, PUBG Mobile Esports, please, can we add emergency cover flares on all the maps? It would be literally so fun to see. But yeah, they would have loved it to bits, man. Imagine you give that to Alpha 7 and they can actually hold that little plateau with 2-3 emergency cover flares. Man, that would have been game-changing on there. But emergency cover flares, huh?
These rotations are, right? I will say the
I know I picked them at the start of the show. It's not working out. I'm sorry for the arena, but not seeing anything of value being brought to the table. And as of right now, they're falling even further behind. I think it might be GG for the top 7 here on the side of the arena.
Yeah, honestly, I said it. I said if they don't get a double-digit elimination chicken dinner right there, it's over. So for me personally, I'm gonna put the nail in the coffin for them. But when it comes to Geeky, right, they performed right when they needed to at the last second, Niptura. But I mean, this just has to be a start.
90.
Honestly, I think if they're going to make it in top 7 here going on out, I mean, just look at them, right? They go up to 15th place with 47 points.
এই যে দেখো টপ 5 এর সবার 100 পয়েন্ট
with 86. That's a huge hurdle to jump.
Oh, in just 4 more games, I think that's almost impossible. They would have to pull out a Kara-like performance today to try and do that. I think the way they've been playing, I don't think that's really in the cards. They might have a really good day. I'm not going to put it past them. You know, a win is sometimes what a team needs. We've seen it with DRX. We've seen it maybe with Regnum Karya as well. But 40 odd points, 40 plus points, that's a big ask.
I'm looking at these leaderboards, guys. I think we only have 2 slots left for top 7. I think it's Wolf DRX. I think Alpha 7 and above seem pretty locked in. Like, it's not 100%, but with the tendency we've been seeing so far from these teams, I think there's only 2 slots left, maybe 2.5, maybe Alpha 7 could slip off if they get a terrible day here, Hodrix, but no, in Alpha 7, I don't think that's going to happen. So, man, those slots for the grand finals are going down every single game.
I would normally agree with you here, but I think with just how crazy this lobby is, I'm going to go with 4, okay? That's just my opinion, right? I think R8 at 105 is that current cutoff. And the only reason being, Neptura, right, is just because of how crazy these pop-off games these teams can do, right? I mean, we could see D Xavier get a 20-point game right here, right? Who knows? So we've definitely seen that those leaderboards be really top-heavy by the team that's winning it.
Yeah, I think Ulf, you know, to name another team, Ulf had popped off in the last game. Not so much this game, they went out a little bit earlier, but they were still looking to have a good game. They just got cut off early. So, you know, there are a couple of teams here that I think are definitely trying to get to that spot, and I agree that maybe those 105, 103 points there, I think is just slightly still in the danger zone, but not by much.
Yeah, and the reason why it's not is because it's Alpha 7 and R8 that have it, right? We know they're going to put up some points for sure, but at the same time, it's like, hey, you can't let off the gas pedal just yet. Now, when it comes to Kara, right, and Thunder Talk, those guys are big chilling here, Max, man. So since they have such a big point buffer, okay, I don't think they're going to be doing any kind of crazy hot drops or hunting teams, but what they can do, Max, is when they get into a fight, they can choose to make sure that that team suffers, right? They could be in a fight in a blue zone and be like, you know what, who cares? We don't need to win this game, right? And that could definitely change the dynamic here, right? So you think that's a big possibility here in these last few matches?
I think so, actually. That's a very interesting strat you're bringing up, Hodrix, because you could take a little bit more risk to make sure to flush out your opponents. Like, oh, we might be a little bit too aggro on this particular fight, but we're going to confirm 2 players that we knocked and making sure that the team doesn't come out comfortably out of this fight. They're going to be fully wounded from that engagement. I think that's actually a very good strat. So yeah, Thundertalk, Kara in particular, have been doing it naturally throughout the entirety of the Gauntlet stage. So if can, why the hell not? Kara, Thundertalk, go ham in these fights. Let's go. I want to see absolute pure madness unfold on these matches.
Hey, let it ride, man. And I'll tell you what, right? You saw Kara do that right off the bat here in the first game. We got the second Aaron Gale match coming up, Neptura, okay?
Yes.
We need to see some big performances again, all right? I already put the nail in the coffin when it comes to EA, all right? Looking back at the leaderboards, honestly, Regnum Kari, I think, is in the danger zone here, right? What do you think these guys need to do different in order to possibly push themselves up here?
Win.
Yeah.
I think they had the right idea in this last Erangel. It was looking really, really good, but I think that the zone kind of messed them up. But if they just keep going how they have been going and maybe just be a little bit more aggressive towards DRX, you know, in that last game, if they had just been a little bit more proactive, they might have been able to do something a bit more there. So I'd just like to see a little bit more proactivity from them.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we need to see a lot of proactivity here, big time, from quite a few squads, right? Ulf did a pretty good, solid job in that first game of Rondo here, Max, man, you know?
Yes.
That's going to definitely give him a lot of confidence here going into this next match of Aaron Gale, right? I think that momentum definitely pushes itself a little bit further, okay? But when it comes to Ulf, right, they have DRX. It's a 9-point difference. What kind of performance do you want to see from them here, right? I don't think they're desperate to go for a chicken dinner, but what do you want to see from them? Yeah, or why not? Yeah, why not both? Yeah, honestly.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
No, for Ulf, I want to see an echo of what we saw in game 1, because they were not just playing a central position that we know that is the typical Ulf gameplay that we've been witnessing the entirety of this Gauntlet stage, but it's more of like a zoning gameplay style. That was great on Rondo. I want to see more kind of play style like that. Can you do it in that previous Erangel? Really hot drinks? Unfortunately not, because headshot heals, west off score is just so hard to execute. But if they do put themselves in a similar situation compared to Rondo or even the matches they had in day 1, day 2, I want to see that similar playstyle where they just start zoning everyone away and getting high elimination top 3 finishes. That would make me very happy to see it. And DRX, on their side, I would say just start playing the way they've been doing so far today. I think they definitely leveled up significantly. They're playing a lot more aggressive, which I like to see. This is a team that needs to use that fragging potential to its full potential then. So I would say DRX just keep playing the same way, and I think they should be able to make it maybe barely, but surely in top 7.
I don't think that's a bad shout, for sure. I mean, I think that consistency is definitely going to be key here. The big threat, I think, Neptura, is the fact that any one of these teams can bust out 20 points, right? I think if we see some of the squads right below DRX, I'm going to be talking about the Xavier OG. I think if they get a chicken dinner here in this next game, DRX definitely going to start having to step things up. What do you think?
100%, because I think Xavier and OG, both of those teams, if they get a win under their belts, they're gonna run with it. We've seen it from them before. Xavier, they have bits and pieces, they have glimpses of the old Xavier we're used to seeing, and then they seem to go back into their shells again. And if they can just get a win, I feel like they would really be able to just shine. So for DRX, for Wolves as well, they've done well, but they just need to bring up like just another 10-20% if they want to keep up against those teams, if those teams get a win.
I want to see Xavier bring an extra 50%, and by that I mean not have only 2 players alive in the late game, which unfortunately has been a tendency we've been seeing throughout the entirety of today. That's really what's hurting Xavier, because I agree, Nitro, Xavier can get big wins. We saw in the past, especially during the SEA region for the summer season, they were just dominating that entire battlegrounds. But losing players early is a massive issue. Even just one player, Hodrick, I mean, we know you were a pro, right? You know losing one player, that's really going to hurt your chances of a potential chicken dinner. And it's the same for Alpha Gaming. Also losing players very, very early on in the matches. That's something you need to avoid. And currently, actually, I want to say a team that's been pretty decent at doing that is Orangutan. They keep players very early on alive, and then they get into the late game. Unfortunately, still, as we said, they got a bit more passive, but Orangutan have been doing that really well. So I want to see a bit more of that kind of playstyle from these teams that unfortunately do take very early casualties.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to OG, I'm going to be a little bit more harsh. That last game, they needed to make that push, right? I think they're doing an excellent job of getting to those late games, right? But at a certain point, Neptura, you have to flip on that aggression switch, right? Do you think the reason why they haven't done that yet is because of nerves or something else?
I think it might be nerves. It's definitely not skill, because what they're doing is they're playing, they have their full squad, but they're playing like they're a solo duo, and they can't do it. They've got to unlock that next level and just go, hey, we're here, we're full squad.
One of those slots is right there for the taking. OG, are you gonna be able to grasp it? Only a few matches left to go. Let's go ahead and take it on over to John Adam Blake for the next match.
Let's go.
We are ready and raring to go for our second Erangel. The open fields proved that Geeke does sometimes have what it takes. The question is, who else is going to be able to step up this match? Because at the moment, it's not looking likely that Geeke are going to be able to go the full distance, even if they have a fantastic 5 match there.
Chicken to at least
Right, it looks nice. Good for the you're not going to be feeling terrible going into the group stages, at least. But talking about the cutoff right now, because we are heading into the halfway point. Like I said, after this game, I think things will start to solidify a little bit more. I think the guys at Desk are absolutely right that we are starting to get that point where people are getting locked in terms of not falling out at least. We had the idea is like 105 to 110 points is the cutoff. Already some teams have achieved that. Some teams are nigh on achieving that. There is only a few teams left now where it's interchangeable.
So, going to get a little bit more clear. You're right, the mists will start to lift on these overall rankings as to who is going to be in with the chance of getting one of those spots. We've already got 2 or 3 teams who are looking pretty set to get forwards. I'm talking about Mad
iPad 11 ভালো তো
after that game that they just saw.
কোনটা তুমি ইয়াসি
হ্যাঁ more teams will start to move in. The east side circle comes on through on a west side lane path, so teams will need to migrate out to that east side.
2025 128 GB
It's a very far rotate as well for a lot of our squads
হ্যাঁ ভালো
on that western lane path.
হ্যাঁ ভালো
that eastern area should be a little bit more clear. But for teams that like to play those areas like Alpha 7, it's a difficult rotate to make. With Thunder Talk already in this position, Geeke taking up residence over towards Yasnaya.
ওটা হচ্ছে হলো তোমারই মিনি 6 এর থেকে ভালো
room to play with down towards Farm and Milter. So they can kind of have the pick of where they want to play on that one. Again, not always the most comfortable area of the map to play. I personally really don't enjoy playing Shelter at all. I think it's such an uncomfortable area of the map to work with. I think most players would agree with that. that.
But
But again, most of these positions are difficult to work with. Again, I think it's going to be speed. Alacrity required in these coming moments, just because if we do head over towards that northeast side, you're going to have Mansion, particularly a very, very strong position to play in. Also, you have Heaven that you can head over towards too, so those areas with this western paintcraft, you're going to be quick to get towards them. But you have a little bit of time now before we do hit stage 2.
Yeah, we are going to still be in with a couple of minutes before that boundary is crossed. Thunder Talk up in the north side all the way in Stalber. They have had a bit of a slowdown. We'll see if they can keep things up towards the finals, where we're very likely going to see them. OG, they had a good chance
medical student
at the north side of their compound, right? It was unfortunate that Ulf broke
দেশে
that.
আসতে আসতে সবাই ওই জানুয়ারিতেই 10 তারিখের ভিতর
Welcome to a quick report
দেশে
with
আসবে
7WG. I don't
কে
have any
তোমার
players
বোন
with me, but I
আসবে
do have some information.
বোন আসবে
Earlier
ভাই
today, I
সব
talked to Aro from
সবাই
OG, and I asked him, what is the expected benchmark that you have to hit every single match? He said
বোন
between
আসতেছে
6
ভাই
to
দুজন
7
আসতেছে
points. So far, especially
চারো
after
জন
the
আসতেছে
performance they just had, they're averaging 6 points. Let's see if
আমারে
they can keep it
গতকালকে
up
ভাইয়া
and
জিজ্ঞাসা
maybe get a little bit
করতেছিল
closer towards that top
অ্যাপল
7.
ওয়াচ লাগবে না বললাম যে আমি এইসব লাগে না রে ভাই আমি অ্যানালগ ওয়াচ ইউজ
6 or
করি
7 points a match.
উদয়
That sounds like not a lot, right? But it is actually quite difficult to be able to get that. Very few teams in the lobby will be able to find that sort of a metric. To put that in
গতকাল
context,
কি
6
চেক করে
points a
দেখি
match
কি
gives you 108 points
আমার
total
বেট্রিয়াল
on
চলে
set
আসছে
playing
85 এ
18 matches, which
আমি
is,
তো
as you can
কই
see,
এত তাড়াতাড়ি চার্জ শেষ হয়ে
pretty
যায়
difficult to achieve
আমি
once
চেকই
you
দেই না
pass that boundary.
Yeah, and that's on the low end of the prediction as well.
কালকে 3 ঘন্টা গেম খেলছি
It
ওই
is
যে
difficult,
রাতে
but I think he's kind of on
দেখি
the
কি
money there with it as well.
25% চলে
6 or
আসে
7
আমি কই কি
points.
রে 25 এর
And
আগে
if
তো
that's the
আমি
game plan right now for
অলমোস্ট
OG,
মানে
they could
3.5
still
ঘন্টার
hit
উপর গেম
that,
খেলি
but not
পরে
with
ইয়ে
those
বেট্রি
points
চেক
alone.
দিলাম
They'd still need a bigger game. It's not a
ফোন
gigantic game
আপাতত
they
চেঞ্জ
need,
করবো
but
না
they do need
যেহেতু
another large
এই
game
কিউ নিয়ে
for
নিছি
them
নাইলে
today.
চেঞ্জ করে ফেলতাম ওই টাকা দিয়ে অ্যাড কইরা
They do get over towards the Povka very
আই কিউ
quickly,
দিয়েও
which is
খেলতে
nice.
পারবো
Yeah, this game
এই
is
তো
that
সেটিং
chance,
মিটিং
right?
কইরা
That big spread out,
IQ
like you said, to
10
that
নিয়েছো
east
না
side. They've got very,
নিও
very
10
good
হ্যাঁ
IQ
control.
15
The
এর দাম
question is
কত
the regroup. If they can make that work
15 তো
successfully,
প্রায়
then they're
কত
going to be in a really good spot to try and
80,000
win some
প্লাস
points this match. But
85 সামথিং
they
ভালোই
do
তো
still have to
দাম
go for that regroup. And with teams like Ringdom Kaya on your north, I mean, even though they are down in 12th place, right, they still
85,000
have got some
ইউএসডি সেল
firepower to
দিয়ে
go. We'll
60
see
65
just what they're able to do.
মানে ইউএসডি
Position out to the south of the Yas fields.
বুঝলাম
ওইটাতে ওই যে এলিট প্রসেসর দিয়ে দিছে না এই জন্য আর কি
Still
দাম একটু
playing
বেশি
on that northwest side right now.
Elite Gen 5
Both teams, neck and neck right now. A lot of times neck and neck in terms of
আমি
the drop
বুঝছো
spots
একটু
as
ওয়েট
well
করে
on the
হইলে
map.
ওই যে
So
Xiaomi
finding some
যে
equal
তোমার
success
17
on
আছে
that
না
side of
ওইটা
things. It is
নিতাম
kind of
বাট
funny,
ওই শাড়িটা
two
কি
teams
করছে
have
জানো
been so
হাইপার
close
ওএস
to one
দিয়ে
another multiple times with
নাইলে
many
ওয়েট করে
similar
হইলে ওইটা নেওয়ার
rotations,
ইচ্ছা ছিল পরে দেখি
have
ও
ended
মাগো
up 2
হাইপার
points apart on the tables.
চাইনিজ
Yeah, it is
ঝামেলা
ওটা
হিটিং
ভালোই খারাপ না ফোনের রিভিউ দেখলাম ভালোই ওটা
হ্যাঁ এমনি তো ঠিক আছে গ্লোবালি তো তোমার ইয়ে মানে ওইটা ঠিক আছে তারপরেও মানে হিটিং ইস্যুটা
গ্লোবালি লঞ্চ
আছে
হয়নি তো মনে হয় এখনো
না
শুধু
না না
চায়নাতে
চাইনিজ
চায়নাতে
এই জন্যই তো হাইপার ওএস দিয়ে রাখছে আমি তো ফার্স্টে ওই যে টার্বো 4 প্রোতে ভাবছিলাম নিমু বুঝছো তারপর আর আইকিউ নিও দুটোর মধ্যে কম্পেয়ার করে পরে দেখলাম কি ওই টার্বো 4 প্রোতে হাইপার ওএস দেওয়া প্রায় সেম
I think that when we
তো
look
টার্বো
back on
4টা
what the
প্রোটা
devs had
হচ্ছে
to say,
সুন্দর
I think it's very, very
বডি কাট
clear
কাট
why
আউট
they
অনেক
chose
সুন্দর
both of these teams in 6th and 7th place as saying they're the most interchangeable is purely because of the tendencies that they've brought to the table throughout the entirety of this tournament. And
তুমি
DRX, like you say,
কালকে স্ট্রিমে ছিলা
inconsistent. I would
বলতা
say Wolves is similar on that boat of
আমি
inconsistent. Yes,
আজকে
they
দেখা
put
দেখি
up
কি
big points
তুমি
here and
স্ট্রিমে
there.
ছিলা
A lot of those points did come
আমি তো
through from
রেগুলার
Rondo
স্ট্রিম
just
করি
today. And I think that for both Wolves and
আচ্ছা
DRX,
আমি
it
একটা
is
জিনিস
not
ইয়ে ওই
the
যে
similar
আগে
case of
বুঝছো
Operate and
যখন
Alpha
আমি
7,
স্ট্রিম
but
লেপসে
both these
তোমার
teams are
লেপস না চ্যাম্প
punching up those points
চ্যাম্পে
every
তোমার কানেক্ট
single
করার
game,
পর কি
right? There is
হইতো
a little bit here
ওই
and there that
ফেসবুক যে পেজ
consistently
যেটা আছে
hitting
না
those
ওইটা মানে
numbers
আসতো
on the board. For
এখন কি
DRX,
ওই জায়গায় এখন
it
আসে না
felt
ওইটা
like
মানে ওই
a
আমার
bit
মানে
of a struggle. For Wolves,
পেজ
it
না
felt
আসে
like
প্রোফাইল
a bit
আসতেছে
of a
কেন
struggle, right? Sometimes the pickaxe
স্ট্রিমে
is
গেলে
just flinging off the rock and
প্রোফাইল
stone
থেকেই
that they're
নিতে হবে
trying to break
তোমাকে
through. Whereas for R8 and Alpha 7,
মানে
the steady hands
প্রোফাইল
বলতে
বলতে
বুঝিনি।
যাচ্ছ যে ব্রাউজার থেকে তুমি স্ট্রিম স্টার্ট দিলে তোমার প্রোফাইল দেখাচ্ছে তো প্রোফাইলে লাইভ
হ্যাঁ
হয়ে
প্রোফাইল
যাচ্ছে
দেখাচ্ছে, হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ পেজ আসতেছে না,
বুঝতে পেরেছি
অথচ আমি পেজ সিলেক্ট করে রেখে দিছি, আসে না, অপশনই আসে না, আগে আসতো।
In sixth place, 91 points,
বুঝতে
more secure
পেরেছি
of the two volatility teams, but not
এমনকি
losing
ওই
it.
যে
Losing a player like to
পাসকি
APG
ইউআরএল দিয়ে
is
কি
not
স্ট্রিম
going to
করতে
feel
হবে
good.
ওইভাবে?
স্ট্রিম চ্যাম্পে তো ইউআরএল দিয়েই করা লাগে, তোমার হচ্ছে ই করা লাগবে
No, and I mean that's the second time
তোমার
in a row now we've seen here on
ফেসবুক
Erangel.
বিজনেস
The Wolves lose
ম্যানেজার
one player
বা
super early in the
ফেসবুক
match.
ক্রিয়েটর
Again though, that's
স্টুডিও ওটাতে
আচ্ছা
silence
বুঝছি
and
বুঝছি
the
বুঝছি,
fairness
ওইখান
of
থেকে
all.
স্ট্রিম চেপের ওই যে
ওইখান
ইউআরএলটা কপি করে
A
একটা
bit of
ইয়ে কি
মানে
কপি করে
কপি
আনতে
না,
হবে
ওখান
ওইভাবে,
থেকে তুমি চাইলে
in terms
স্টার্টও
of a
দিতে
weapon.
পারবা
The fact that he hits those shots
তো
so
ওইভাবে স্ট্রিম
cleanly
করতে
is
হবে।
again a
ওখান
testament
থেকে
to
মানে ডিরেক্ট
Zol's
ফেসবুক
experience
থেকে
in the
দেওয়ার
game
চাইতে
over the
ওদের
multiple
যে
years
স্টুডিও আছে ওখান
and the
থেকে স্টার্ট
multiple
দেওয়া দিলে
achievements he's
তুমি
been able to
প্রোফাইল
garner.
পেজ সবই দেখতে
Yeah, well
পারবা।
played. Very well played. But for Wolves, that's got to stop. I mean, it's the same rotate again. It's the same
ফেসবুকেও
positioning
করতাম,
over
ফেসবুকে
towards
এখন
gas
100
station.
ফলোয়ার হয়নি,
You can't
100 ফলোয়ার
have
হলেই
that
লাইভ
keep
করতে
happening, especially
পারবো।
if they want to stay in top 7.
কেবল 42টা হয়েছে।
Next circle coming on through in a couple of seconds as well as our teams
আমার
move
আগের
central.
পেজটা যদি এক না
Just
হইতো ভালোই
sends all the way back
মোটামুটি
আরে
to the
ইয়ে ছিল,
west
বলছো
side.
4,500
আগের
মতো
পেজ
ছিল।
Not
4,500
dissimilar
পেজ
path around that east
হচ্ছে
edge
হলো
of Potato Hill.
পলিসি
On
রিমুভ
those
করার জন্য
divots that
একটা
currently we
ট্রাস্টেড
just
ভাবে
saw Ulf
অ্যাডমিন
taking up one of them
দিয়েছিলাম,
right around
পেজই
that
খেয়ে
road
দিয়েছে।
junction. It's not going to be a major feature moving
আমার আগে
forward to
পেজ
this
ছিল নাম বিটুবি
game,
প্লেস,
and Virtus.pro
4,500
being one
ছিল
of the slower teams to be able to
আগে,
make it
এটা
in
ওটা
there.
গেল
The
1
most
মিলিয়ন
see
আলা
what they could do. DRX, they were pretty quick on the trigger here, and actually they're happy to play all the way down south on this building.
কি
You kind of want to take both sides of this though, and I think DRX has enough time to do it in. So they're confirming on both positions, but the anchor point has been found. No players there, so DRX is like, well, sure, I guess we'll pick this up. They've got OG over on their north side though, who are trying to clear a similar area. You see Aru wrapping around the side. QXZ very close to him, but the shots aren't ringing out just yet.
Not for the time being. OG, I mean, not going to be able to do more than just send them down into the bunkers. Not for the time being. Regnum Kaya, this is a nice dip for them. I mean, Ulf were sort of holed up in this area, but they've moved on further south, away from here, across the road. They've managed to find a little bit of a stronghold there. Sorry, not quite across the road, just a little bit short of it. A little bit further up in their next dip.
I mean, playing dip here is okay. Right, it's a position to work with. It's slightly open. You only smoke stage 2 of the game, absolutely fair place to play for Regnum Kaya. Here's some options going into the late game. And again, there is not a fantastical amount of insanely strong areas to play to the center of this circle. So I think for Regnum Kaya, like that is a good spot to be working with going forward. They just had a situation last game where they get rolled upon and just absolutely smoked. But in the meantime, I think most teams will be waiting for stage 3 to pop on this one. It does move away from shelter, so we are towards winding roads.
সকালে 11টা সিলেট ঢাকাটা সিলেট
Just playing it safe on that north side. Thundertorch coming out from Yasai on that end of things. I think that has been a problem for Thundertorch over to both today's games and
এখন
yesterday.
আচ্ছা নাম হইল কি কিতা এসসিবি
North side, a lot of times they stop off in South
এসসিএসইউ কিতা কেবিন
time, and I think they're realizing it's not
এখন কালকে তুই কিতা হইলে 6 জন 7 জন 3 জন আমি তো বাগামাতা কিছুই তো বুঝলাম না ভাই
I mean, the thing that we praised Thundertalk for at the end of day 1 and towards the start of day 2 as well is that coordinated play, basics, fundamentals were just better than everyone else in the lobby at that point. When you talk about team play, it seems like a few other teams have caught up, and at the moment we are flagging, so corrections now necessary for Thundertalk. So it's good to see that
আলাদা খাটে লিবে বলতে
not just resting on their laurels, moving in to try and make sure that they fully deserve their spot in the finals, which they are guaranteed to find here. Alpha 7 all the way
এখন একজনে 2 কেবিন খাটা যায়
just about skirting prison. Regnum Kaya are actually making a move further up here. They don't want to stay in that dip. They want to get a little bit further down.
being on that lockdown now isn't effective.
ভাই সেট লাগবো ডুরালে লবি ধরো 6টা
If the circle move over towards the northeast side, fantastic. But at this point in time, you're quite close to the circle anyway. You should have had some scouting.
এই ধরলাম 7টা
So they're just going to rotate during
এই 7টা হইলে তুমি একজনের 6টা কাটতে পারবো বাকি রইলো তোমার 3টা
teams, that lovely compound that sits to the western hillside of Farm is cut out. So teams currently
तो हमें register करना
on E-Arena, those going to take
Para na
control
bolte?
of Potato Hill, and Regular Kai is going to sit just underneath.
আমার আইডি তুই ঢুকতে খা তুই তো আইডি রেজিস্টার করছ না আমি তোর 4 যা ঢুক
DRX playing close by as well on the
ওগুলো
entrance.
রেজিস্টারও মার
We saw them
মারার পরে অপশন দেখ কি চায় এনআইডি চায় না নাম্বার চায়
continue to bubble on in. Damage just ticking away on both of these teams.
ওই আমার ইওর পাসওয়ার্ড কি তাসলো বে ভুলে গেছি
আমার seem to be solidifying now in their
কিটা ইরোর দেখাই তো ওখানে তুই কিটা সার্চ
You get
মারছ
to a point here where I feel like both teams
রেজিস্টার না তুই নতুন করে ঢুকছ না
want to fight each other all that much. I mean, there's no reason to.
বাংলাদেশ রেলওয়ে টিকেট বা যেটাও মার তুই government.bd না যেটা হয় তুই মার
And both are relatively safe. Obviously, Regnum Kai is slightly
নতুন করে
more
সার্চ
passive
কর
play because
নতুন করে
a bit more
আমার
open
পাসওয়ার্ড
DRX
দিতে হবে আমি পাসওয়ার্ডও ভুলে
smokes,
গেছি
but this is definitely a case of a bit of a more neighborly love from both
ও
squads.
পাসওয়ার্ড মধ্যে কপি পেস্ট মারি হামাস নাই নি
না এখন আমার অটো ইয়াম
আমার পাসওয়ার্ড জানি কোনটা নিজে ভুলি
will they be able to bear that pressure?
আমার কেটা চাই
আচ্ছা আমি চ্যাটও লাইক তো না
onto the
আমি সিস্টেম করলাম
OG we're surrounding it before they want to get into the circle and they will line that edge.
hello
Trying to stop Alpha 7 from going through, but they will thrust the tip of the spear. Revel moves on in now. WizGod and a Tanky have to hold strong. They're playing around the hill, around the mouth here. It's good. WizGod exploited. He knows about it now.
বাদ আমি রেজিস্টার করলাম
WizGod's quick on the trigger of the pump action. A nade put in through the window.
terms and conditions privacy policy to get cancelling process
The base of the hold here from OG. Another player now sends out wide of
hey opinion
for Alpha 7, and he's on the hunt. AKOP over the top has got the shotty as well as the blue zone. The push obscure out of the zone. It's only stage 3, not the hugest. AKOP though takes damage from the zone, and GS are on the north, maybe a third party.
Yeah, I mean, GS coming over towards this one, they can definitely see that there's a fight taking place right now. And with OG taking another knock on the cards, GS should be able to finish this off. Sending a player out to try and survive longer inside the zone, but quickly cut off in the meantime. So they are locked in now versus GS. But it's only 2 players right now from GS that are playing this position, hoping to just hold these players out. I don't know why Amir pulled off that spot. He just saw a player.
You're trying to send on through and actually might be able to make it now, but he will send over towards Kara and Virtus.pro as well. I don't think that he's going to be able to make that one work. He sends up 2 players from Virtus.pro hop out and down Alpha 7 fall. 5th place, 103. I mean, they're not fully secure yet, but they've still got a couple more games to play here. But 16th place, 0 elims, a fight with OG that they lose there is not going to be a sweet taste on the tongue.
No, I mean, that's a team that hasn't quite made it yet. I mean, 103 is great, but is it super secure? No. Thunder Talk up against Geeke, a fairly consistent squad wipe, but not before E-Arena starts to swing down the hill, looking over towards Thunder Talk. The Gladiators do arrive. Tony K back in the hovercraft, looking to move away as Thunder Talk gets swept up. Only 2 players left now for the team. E-Arena able to profit a little bit off the back of that one with 2 points.
I think the major profit that they'll find is actually the lack of teams in their area anymore. They can move along Potato Hill, move a little bit closer towards Regnum Kaya and really take control of this western side of the circle. The rotation after may be a little bit trickier. With R8 to the north, with Wolves to the south, Regnum Kaya to the front, it's not too many options from that point onwards.
Yes, taking down OG as they attempt to make their way through. Alpha 7 really slowed them down there. And for OG, it looks like they are just ticking away. They still have 1 final player up, but it's between him, Kara, Virtus.pro, as well as GS. It's very unlikely that he makes his way out of the blue here.
So, not looking great. This could have been their game. OG had the drop, they had the circle on their side, but that shift back to the west has been treacherous for them. They were able to handle Alpha 7, but GS really playing spoiler to the approach on the northern edge. And GS will make out over towards DX. And now in the crash goes. Jafar sending straight into the middle. Immediately Paragin puts him down. No threat now, so it's a single front fight. The nade finds Amir as well. And that is a brilliant start to the hold as Levi's turns the corner and GS are sent spinning here as they try and approach the Xavier's hold. The Xavier, we criticize them for not being able to hold super strong, but maybe that's going to change. Hang on a minute. Ooh, I might have to eat my words because there's already a lot of danger being felt. One player gets knocked and flushed there. The Xavier losing one, but they do stay alive.
I mean, you hold versus the push. That means a lot less players on this northeast side for you. Mad Bulls just finished an engagement and now looking to push down as well. I think they must have heard this, so they are instantly trying to get players back up and healthy so they could try and capitalize off the back of an engagement that just took place. There is a player that only just got picked back up again. That's Atenki going down to the play zone off in the distance. Nade's been sent down from Ulf as well as APG towards VP's position. It was a spot that can be played, but it's also a spot that both teams from APG as well as Ulf understood that likely teams are going to go
again.
Hey, the double knock there coming through from the Mad Bulls, leaving just the one player now for Xavier on the ground floor. Third party, maybe. Shots sent in across the way. Is that R8? Is that Ulf? I'm not entirely sure, but they've already done so much work. It's just Lamborn now for Xavier on the inside. R8 are close by. Amori has moved into position on that north flank. Look at how much he wants to get stuck into this fight. Maybe take a player down, maybe give themselves an opening, because R8 do still have to move.
I mean, R8 could have an equally similar rotate to Mad Bulls here. I think the difficulty for them is Mad Bulls really hasn't taken too much damage off the back of this. Get the res up over towards Paragin, and Mad Bulls just lets it happen. Still 3 nades to work with. 2 nade goes over towards the top window. Paragin's able to dodge that one, so he's able to get that first aid kit off, which is pretty massive for them, getting 2 players back into the fight. But Lemon once again so good with the nades.
Lamborn has got 2 more still to play with. Nade out through the door, looks for the challenge. He's got to hold his nerve though, not go for the peak. It's Scarface though, who spots him hopping out the window. Does not allow the exit, and that is Xavier with 3 right towards that bubble. That's great news for the teams looking to try and chase up towards it. Feel like Regnum Kaya may be on for a bit of a mad one here if they can capitalize on the west side position. Push up with Amori though, knocking on the door, and Mad Bulls now have another challenge.
Yeah, for R8 is a much more difficult fight in terms of the health pools available to Mad Bulls, but already done a hell of a lot of damage. But they need to keep these nades coming so those first aid kits can't keep being applied to the players and getting them back up and healthy. This is good chip damage so far from R8. Just wondering when they're going to pull the trigger on this one. There's no more third parties in this area. It has been a constant fight for this location.
Yeah, Kara approaching to the rest of Ulf drew Scarface away, so they are now fighting on that south side, which means you're right, this is going to be a fairly clean fight. Unless that fight on the south side concludes, you can see off in the distance, then things could get a little bit more messy, but have to wait for the time being. Marth still on that off angle on the outside. Lemon knows exactly what he's playing up against. He's not really able to do too much about it right now.
Flip, taking shots of Scarface again. God, this guy is frustrating to play against. Insanely good when it comes to those long-range shots, and even more shots going down over towards RA. He's just making sure both these teams are battered and bruised by the time they leave this building. Right now, R8 definitely has the advantage because they're playing with a 3-story at their backside as well. So if it came down to it where Mad Bulls are able to get a single knock over towards them, they could always start dodging nades in the 3-story. Loxy, though, finding some shots over towards Sakura. And Murray on the sidelines finds a great shot towards Mad Bulls there, opening up the doorways for the rest of R8 to start flowing through. This isn't before Scarface once again tells Marth that you can't be stepping out on the outside.
There's a big fight happening on the west side as well, Blank in the picture-in-picture. It's Regnum Kaya fending off the push from the arena. It looked like Regnum Kaya might have had a good time of it, but tried to lose a player or 2. Pusher on the inside here now, though, as we go into the kitchen. Looking to try and cook up a meal, but it's not going to happen. It's cold as a bone, and R8 will be taking them on down. Marth is the loss that they have to suffer, but that Scarface is doing. In the meantime, Regnum Kaya able to survive just a little bit longer, but they need a res. They need something else to happen as the Wolves are starting to push on up and fight against DRX on their south border.
Again, this is good for the Wolves. They needed another strong game here. They couldn't keep just getting those small ones and then hope for a big game to come in the future. Getting those placement points will be very nice. They start to push over towards DRX, but a lovely shot from QXZ will pin them down for the time being. An APG off in the distance as well is an ever-looming threat for the Wolves.
Regan Kaya have managed to get themselves back up now. They could peek in here. The off angle, the outpost for DRX is their end goal. The Kites that out in the open, but they've got to deal with troops first. They'll do it. They'll look for more as well. They will find everything they're looking for. The Wolves start to fall and they will continue to tumble. 7th place, no elims there. Not able to keep things going. For DRX, this is great news. On that 7th place bubble, they're looking to solidify themselves. But Regnum Kaya, they want to extract points from this region. 5 elims found and they want more as they move on in from that western edge.
Oh
Nice.
my god, the tracking on that was crazy. Royal Mail first class. That is some amazing shots there.
APG chicken libe matche je obostha dekhchi je matche.
I'll be calling hacks at that point, to be honest with you. But Regnum Kaya will get to play on as 2.
Kara eliminated as well in the meantime on the southeast side. That was Ulf's doing. Ulf as well.
Knock shall I go
The fact that the Wolves are down, the Alpha 7 are down, gives them a little bit of hope, but there's a knock coming through both for DRX and for Ulf. Kaya have managed to move in, but they're playing 2 solos.
Zone control sei bhalo kore zone control diyeche চারজনই বেঁচে আছে
DRX অবস্থা খারাপ
DRX এর
দুইটা knock
করে যে হোগা মেরে দিয়েছে
Pick a player out the back of the body, immediately steps back down again. This is where I want to see Doc respect this angle a little bit more. Needs to potentially leave. This could be a decent Molotov. There's no smoke blocking the window either, so he has a clear sight line towards it.
Nice.
DRX on slivers of HP.
Are sala bachelor na to.
APG. It's been engaged the lobby now.
Stop
Two players for DRX, and it's only the one on this outpost. Remember, they've still got that central player. Dead Wolves did get knocked and flushed there, leaving just Loxy for Regnum Kaya on that north side. There's that knock over towards DRX. They're not getting him back up. The question is points. 5 teams remain now, Blank. What can teams extract from here?
Third party.
Loxy in the picture in picture, fighting for his life against Amori. One of the 2 players remaining for RA.
Again, for APG there, Doc gets shot at by Eren on that angle. Where was the comms across the top in which how he should have rotated back towards the team? Doc knew the angle was available. Top was told about it. Because otherwise there's no way he would have made that aggressive push back that way. I mean, we just talked about it. But now APG down to just 3 players. But first one in a while, we've seen them in a top 4 here. Could go a little bit further beyond, but it is Ulf who's controlling the hillside along with the shot. Up the tables.
Got 12 elims already, Blank, this match.
R8 Wolfের 3টা DRX একটা আচ্ছা ডক আছে মরছে কে তাইলে টপ মরে টপের পারফরম্যান্স তো বাজে যাচ্ছে কেন
Moving in to the later parts of the day, we're going to be getting across the halfway line of the day after this match. So going into the final 3, it's going to feel good being in the top 7. But that buffer building more and more on top of it. That's what teams are looking to do now. DRX, their last player. Prestige bearing down upon him. Mori keeping his head down.
Rufus no. Chesh. Lujan.
Dore ei shala bar morche শুধু আমি দেখছি অফ অ্যাঙ্গেলে
Eren finding Rufus 13 elims on the game.
DRX শেষ ওদের একটা নিচে পড়ে গেছে ওড়িচ্ছে এন্ড উঠতে পারবো
I would say at this point in time. Now Ulf looks to readdress the circle. If R8 still
আগের ম্যাচে
Murray and Prestige playing both corners.
টপ বেজেছিল এই ম্যাচে টু ম্যান হয়ে গেলে চিকেন আর চিকেনের হোগা না নেট মারলো এপিজি রে উড়াই দিল
এজেন্ট নো
APG and Ulf holding each other in a
কইলাম কি
big flat plateau that sits in the middle. The nade is good from Amori, and that catches Yol. Alpha Gaming getting rid of that roadblock for Ulf might actually allow them to push across more effectively. May have just unwittingly spelled their own demise.
But you take a second place though.
They all
they can go off the back of it. But again, they control the northern edge. Eren Seven picks up
better
another from his
dog.
troubles and now sees Dog
Top
as
3
well. That's
pushes.
15 heliums. They can just clear out the last two players from RA. It will be a 27
Wolf
point
3 আর
game,
2
which will shoot them
এভারেজ
soaring
খেলেছে
towards the top of the
এই
tables
ম্যাচে
here,
এভারেজ
John.
খেললো
They'll be
ইরাঙ্গেল
over that 100-point mark if they're able to do it. Blank. I think
ইরাঙ্গেল
very,
রন্ডো
very close. It might just be short,
এভারেজই
but
খেললো দুইটা ইরাঙ্গেল
that
আর
is an
রন্ডো
incredible resurgence for all the
আহামরি
two big games
ভালো
that they've
খেললো
had
না
today, and it just goes to show you how close these tables have always been.
লবিতে এখন আতঙ্ক
I
লাগে
think the best thing about it is
No.
just watching Ulf play their game, right?
এদিক
Aaron with
থেকে
these great
আর এই
angles, these top
তারপরে
towards
হচ্ছে
players and
কারা এরাই
taking
আতঙ্ক লাগিয়ে বসে
one-on-one
আছে
fights with
ডিআরএক্স
some of the
এরও
best players in the
পারফরমেন্স
squad.
নাই
Scarface on those
এরাও
incredibly
গড়ে
long
বসে
angles,
না
causing casualties towards teams that might have assaulted them later in the game. It's just nice to see Ulf find.
BGS এ যা খেললো DRX এখানে তার ইয়াই
A
দেখতেছে
second Turkish team being in the top 7 would be quite an
বিজেস না
impressive feat.
বিএমআইসি
Bit disappointing.
Not
not
to
see
be
Red
a
Giant
IC.
up there with them. With a lackluster performance so far, they weren't able to convert on this game, but there's an answer. Amori doesn't want them to go any further. Draws a line in the sand, but he has to pull it back as the warpath is
No.
driven.
Trace দেখছো
In the passenger seat, they're slinging them around the hilltops, but he's going to be pulled out. The
Dude,
side.
no, class
Ketch
one.
still sending off across the way, and now they've left themselves in a 1v2 blank. Ketch has it all to do. He's got 2 nades. He's going to have to try and make them work. Not quite reaching the tree there. Amori low on the HP and prestige, and Amori with a big chance for RA.
A massive ego challenge in the vehicle. Made little to no sense at the time after Scarface went down. They could have played this out a little bit slower. No utility on the side of RA right now, other than one stun grenade. But for one player, that might just be enough. RA continues to take momentum here, picking up strong positions. Molotov towards the tree, not allowing Murray to get too close just yet, but just behind it, he's clear and free. Stun grenade goes out towards Kedge. Blast right in his face, and that's going to delay him. He just has to go blind on this one.
না
He's got 1 nade, but he's not going to be having. He's not going to have any time to play around with it. And that is R8 taking home the chicken dinner against all the odds there. What a find coming through from R8. Ulf looked like they had that in the bag. They were on a tear. They had the numbers, but they hop into that
সৌদির টিম না
They got too big for their
ফাইট প্লেয়ার খেলে
I don't know what that
Sure.
was. I mean, there's some
ভয় পায় না
child's feet on those boots because yeah, they were
ভয় না পেলেও ভালো খেলছে
I don't know what Ulf was thinking.
গিকের
that
থেকে তো
scenario.
ভালো খেলছে গিকও তো সৌদি
Does get them a lot of points, but it's not
কি
the
D plus কি है
27-point game they're going
না
for.
না
They lost
গিক
out on
গিক
2
গিক
elims as well off the
আচ্ছা
bat.
গিক স্পোর্টস
চিকেন ম্যান দিল
Far right though.
না ওরা
We'll see them so
পজিশন বুঝে বুঝে খেলতেছে
very safe.
They are
আর
going
এরা
pretty
একদম
good.
ফেয়ারলেস গেম প্লে
6-point swing on the reverse side. What we were expecting, that 27 down now
বলো
towards that 21 point, which is not a small game by any
বাসাতে
stretch of imagination. Still, it's got to feel a little bit galling coming through from
না
Ulf.
বের হচ্ছে
They
আমি
were
শিখেন
not able to find it. In the
কোথায়
end,
আছো
it was R8 to sneak it away right from under
কি
their
করছো
noses.
বাসায় চল যাও বাইরে কি করছো
সেটা
কে কে আছো হোগো মারা দাও দেখলাম বাই বাই
Ulf have the craziest game right at the right time, but then they go for the most bold drive play towards the end. And if they would have had an S12K, it would have worked, okay? But they didn't have it, and they were taken out by R8. R8, get the chicken dinner in this one, Max. And with this chicken, I mean, that's got to lock in their position, right?
Yeah, I mean, you said there were 4 positions possibly remaining in top 7, Hodges. I think it's now just 3 remaining. It's dwindling every single match, but really good stuff coming out from RA. And that was all off the back, by the way, of that successful Northern fight against Mad Balls. They were clear off that position, and then all the other teams are fighting for the high ground positions. And RA are just left alone to survive, make it easily into the later stages, even though they do lose some players a little bit early on this match, such as Ida and Marth. Prestige, Amori, that was more than enough, Niptra, to wrap up this paramount game that they desperately needed to be in the finals. And with this game, I'm going to say it, they're 100% in for the biggest stage of this year's PMGC.
I 100% agree. They are in, they are ready to go, and you could see them celebrating that fact as well right after the game because they know as well they have gotten in. They are safe. They are good to go. Because this is exactly what they needed, right? Because so far today, they've been looking a little bit, you know, uncertain. So this win just really cementing that and, you know, just being a breath of fresh air and just like, okay, we can relax now is really, really good for them. But I've got to say, Max, Ulf coming in hot, just missing out on the win. But man, the points they're racking up today is insane.
You know what? If we don't see Ulf get a win where they get these high elimination counts compared to what we saw day one, I'm fine with this. I'm
right?
Like, it's going to be enough Hot Jukes to push them up in top 7. So you know what? Would it be nice to see them actually get the win? Yes, but this is currently more than enough to keep them in the conversation and make it work out. So you know what, Ulf? Keep it going. This is the right change of pace that we needed to see. And you know what? They're striking while the iron is hot on day 3.
Needed. That is the right word. By the way, those headshots from Joel were just absolutely insane. We're definitely going to touch on that that OG Alpha 7 push. I think that was really interesting, but I want to just really harp on Ulf, man. Ulf in this day, right? On the final day, they were at 13th place, right? At the start of the day here. With this performance, Max, I think that just might have put them especially in contention for one of those 7 spots.
I'm going to go even further. When you look at day 1 and day 2 combined, their highest elimination game was 6, right? That was their best performance. Today, they already got a 14 elimination game on Rondo and now a 15 elimination game on this last Erangel match. Combined, they're completely eclipsing even, I would say, their day 1, day 2 performances in day 3 alone. And Niptura right now, is this more in line with what you expected from Ulf? Because for me, that is definitely the case.
Oh, 110%, right? We've known these guys for years. We know what they can do. 110, yes. I'm certain I'm going over 100% on this. Because, yes, we knew that their gameplay was a little bit more passive this time around than a few years ago, but I didn't expect to see the first and second day performances come out of them. This is much more like it. I'm so happy that they've adjusted.
Subscriber
Look at the pop off there for Mari. Yeah, because they have locked it in. We're going to see them in the finals. But let's take a look at these rotations, Max, man. And look at that. Alpha Gaming all the way down there in military base. Making that travel on over to the east.
নাম তো মিরামান নাকি কয়টা ম্যাচ আছে
এটা মনে হয় 3 নাম্বার ম্যাচ আর 3টা ম্যাচ আছে 3টাই ইরাঙ্গেল ইকুয়ালি হবে মিরামার হবে
earlier Yeji from the southern side, right? Niptura going in, and finally we were talking about
APG ভুল হইছে এক জায়গায় বেশি হোল্ড করা বাম সাইড দিয়ে যেত DRX এর জায়গাটা মাইরা
না DRX এর জায়গা না ওদের ওই শেকের ওদের উপরে পুশ দিয়ে দেওয়া উচিত ছিল
this makes me at least more hopeful that APG can initiate that comeback because again
অনে পুশ দিলে কি হয়তো এমনিও হচ্ছে দেখা যাচ্ছে যে যদি মেরে দেয় তাহলে ভালো জায়গা পেয়ে গেল ওটাই করতে পারেনি আর সব হচ্ছে অফ অ্যাঙ্গেলে মরেছে সবগুলা আরেকজন তো যে নেটের উপরে এসে গেল যেখানে নেট ফেলেছে ওই যে নেট পড়েছে ফালতু
Honestly, that start needed to happen a few games ago. They are really far behind, you know. So, but it's good to see them make it towards the end game, and not to mention, you know, Zol had those crazy headshots. First onto Doran, right?
Team strong থাকলে easy chicken বাড়াতে না.
Donuts. What? I mean, actually, they got 1 placement point. Okay, right? So it's not back-to-back 0-point games. We'll take that. But I mean, come on, Max, right? They win Rondo. And then, I mean, actually, you know, so, but it's good to see them make it towards the end game. Not to mention,
this game because I didn't even see them do anything this match.
Rondo te pelo 8 point.
Unfortunately, the very early end for the side.
Tarpor pelo 6 point.
Again, just keep standing out as the MVP contender of the entirety of our
league. না বাট ডাবল ডিজিট নাম্বার ছাড়া
we see more as a setup of angle player, but no
qualify করতে পারবে না.
Very happy with Amori in particular here. Niptura just keeps putting up the numbers and helping them secure again their position in the top 7 as they now climb in 3rd position just behind Thundertalk.
DRX top 7 এ গেছে
locked in. We're going to have a Mina team here for the grand final.
এই খেলতে বাজে খেলাতেও top 7 এ গেল এই ছেলেরা ভালো
just 3 games left. They are set. Mapples as well, picking up the pace here in the last day. Just keep ahead of the rest of the lobby. So some really, really nice stuff going in here, Jukes.
I mean, last match, you can just see those leaderboards. Ulf making it into that top 7 position, all the way from 13th place. But man, we got a whole bunch more action to go here in just a minute, guys. We'll be right back after this short break.
Racing experience. Wow, racing maps await you. The new racing template is online. Create your racetrack gameplay. Navigate the forest racetrack. Unleash your racing passion. Surpass your opponents. Become the king of speed. Unlimited speed. Ignite your passion for speed. Play WoW now.
ও না আরেকটা ইনাঙ্গেল হবে গো কালকে 3টা মিরামার হয়ে গেছে আরেকটা ইনাঙ্গেল তারপর মিরামার
কি শেষ খেলা শেষ আজকে
না খেলা শেষ হবে
আর ম্যাচ কয়টা আছে
আরো 3 ম্যাচ আছে
আমি তো কলে বুঝছো রেজিস্টার করতেছি 1 ওই যে বেনসন আছে একটু পরে আহে আবার যায় আবার
আইতেছে কল দিতেছে
ভাই আমি আর ক্যাপচা ইউজ করতে পারো না মেজাজটা খারাপ হয়ে গেছে ভাই এত ক্যাপচা হয় হ্যাঁ ভালো
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Ketch, one of the veteran players currently at PMGC. This man's been playing for 6 years. He's part of both Esports. After the first 2 days, you guys had 31 eliminations. Today's a completely different day. After just 3 games, you guys had 30 eliminations. Especially yesterday in Erangel, you guys were able to get good placement points. But now it's a completely different team. What tactical changes have you guys have made to be able to put up such a great performance, especially with Ilms?
Dün Erengel'de sıralamalarda puan kazandınız. Pek iyi puan kazanmadınız. Bugün Erengel'e ne taktik olarak ya da mental olarak
তোর সেলফি ডেলি আপলোড দিতে না তো উপরে লেখা আছে দেখ কিটা আপলোড দিতে লেখা আছে মানে পাসপোর্ট কোড না না জন্ম নিবন্ধন কর তোটাও
işim yaptınız.
পাসপোর্ট লেখা আছে ছোট করে লেখা
At least try to get to reach the top 4 of the each match. And I think this overall it will make our gameplay through the matches.
I'm happy to hear that. I mean, right now you're in sixth place, so I'm pretty sure you're going to be feeling confident. Now, we're going to talk about Aaron, because Aaron just joined the squad in October. He was able to put up a good amount of eliminations just this last match. What has he been able to provide to the team since he joined?
Valla Eren daha Ekim'de girdi takıma.
8 more subscriber.
Yeni şeyler getirdi takıma.
8 more subscriber.
Eren geldiği dönemde çok fazla alışma sürecimiz olmamıştı ama bizim antrenmanlarımız daha çok resmi turnuvalarda oldu. İyi geldi, güzel geldi. İnşallah da böyle devam ederiz.
So when Eren came, actually we didn't take that much for us to get used to him, but mostly we trained through the tournaments with him because at the last minute he's joined. But it was a good feeling that he has in the team, and I hope he can perform very well after this.
Okay, I'm hoping so too. And out of all the squads that are here, the 15 squads that you're looking at, is there anyone in particular that you maybe feel like a rivalry building up after almost 3 days of gameplay?
3 gündür turnuvada oynuyorsun. Sizin takımda kapışacak bir takım var mı?
Yani burada bence herkes çok güçlü. Özellikle söyleyebileceğim bir takım yok. Bilmiyorum yani. Herkes çok güçlü.
So technically I have no teams to pick because all every teams are really redeem their places to get this place. So I really have no team to pick.
Look at this man giving that political answer. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Ketch. I can't wait to see what's going to be happening in the last 3 games, as we're going to be, at the end of the day, sending the top 7 teams to the grand finals.
Continue. Okay.
Hey, cool, calm, and collected there from Ketch right there. I mean, this guy is feeling good, especially after that match. There's a lot of teams here, Max, man, that aren't feeling too good, right? I want to definitely point out some of the big names that are right there on that cusp for that 7th position, right? You had Alpha 7, right, who were already sitting, pretty, but the only way that they don't make it into the finals is if they absolutely throw a terrible performance for the rest of the match. They get a 0-point game in that last one, Max. What do you feel about that?
I was going to say exactly that, actually. We should not see 0-point games, and guess what? That's what we just got. It does not bode well, Hot Jukes, for the rest of today, looking at Alpha 7. Of course, they just need an average rest of the day, and they should be able to qualify. But of course, like, starting off with a 0-point game, they're going to start feeling that pressure, Niptra, and you know what? Under pressure is when you can make some of your biggest blunders, and Alpha 7 have done in the past, especially during PMWC. It would be very unfortunate to witness that happen once again in the Global Championship.
It really would. A7, they've done it before. Hopefully they won't do it again. They have time. Miramar's coming up as well later, so, they could do really well there. They've already got an almost win today. They just need to keep going.
Let's take a look here at this last match. I mean, you got D Xavier as well, only busting out 3 points. OG get a 3-point game. And I'm going to say this, okay? I'm going to be real harsh here, okay? Ooh. Because I heard in the earlier match, right? We got a little bit of information from the 7WG, right? We heard from OG, and Aru's saying that OG is just looking to get 6 to 7 points a match. When I heard that, I almost went nuts because I was like, that is the worst thing you could possibly hear for the grand finals, in my opinion, right? Now, that strategy might work in some earlier tournaments, right? This is the grand finals, though. And Ulf just showed just how that is not gonna work, Max, at least in my opinion, because there are so many teams that can pull out huge games. So I think OG, you got to go for a chicken dinner here if you want to make it a top 7. 6 or 7 is just not going to cut it.
I think when you go in with a mindset of we want to hit 6 or maybe 7 points average per game, it's not the right approach. I think you should try and go hard for those wins, as you just said, Hot Jukes, and that can offset your potential bad games. Because guess what? Even the best in the world is going to have bad games, okay? Everyone is going to have, unfortunately, a 0 or 1 or 2-point game. If you get a win, though, you can afford to have those bad games, which, as of right now, Orangutan can't really afford to get. So I definitely agree with your point there, Hot Jukes. I think they need to try and go hard. And we saw a glimpse of absolute beauty in this game with Orangutan, Niptra. They had a great engagement in Shelter versus Alpha 7, I think it was. And then they just start to get a little bit too confident and start splitting apart. AKOP in particular was the one to leave the team. No, what we saw at the start of that fight, do it more often. And I'm telling you, they could easily make in top 7 if they could do it more consistently.
Oh, 100%, because what we saw in that fight was the team synergy, the backup from the team. You know, they were having a fight, somebody else comes round to back up the team, round on the outside, lots of different angles, and then AKOP just decides, hey, I'm just gonna go solo it towards the last player over on Obscure. I'm just gonna solo it, guys. You don't need to watch me. And I was like, bro, come on, no, please don't do this. Please. And then he goes out. I'm like, well, yeah, you kind of knew that was gonna happen, but yeah, it was unfortunate because then they just get overrun by GS as well as the blue zone comes in. It's just, why did you do that? So less of that, more of the initial start to the fight would be awesome for them.
You know what? I'm gonna sound very biased here, but I want COG in the finals because come on,
Same,
India
for
is
sure.
finally back since what was it, 2021, because they did in January the finals. I confuse in my mind, but it's been a while. And I would like to see them, and in my opinion, Orangutan, if there's any team that's going to make it, it would have to be the one, especially through Gauntlet. There's the easiest stage, you know, in quotation marks, to qualify into the finals because you just have to be in top 7. Yep. So we need to see a change of pace here, Hot Jukes, if we want to see that dream come to reality for the big old monkeys. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go, man. It's a dream I definitely want to see happen. I'll tell you what, though. I mean, you got D Xavier right above them. You got Regnum Karya, VP right below you, okay? And right now, OG sitting in 10th place with 80 points. That cutoff position, that 7th place. DRX is currently holding it with 93. So they're already 13 points behind here with not a lot of matches left today.
They're being reactive, not proactive, and they have really good mid game. They've figured out how they want to play the mid game. Certainly in the last 2 Orangles, we've seen some really good mid game strategies from them. It's just getting them to the end game and then fighting that end game is where they're falling down. And so they just need to be more proactive. They need to think ahead a little bit more because the way the rest of these teams are playing, they were like 2 points, 3 points away from top 7 now, but as you just said, they're now 13 points away. So the rest of the lobby is not going to wait for them.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be that team in 8th place, guys, right? But, you know, 7th place gets you to the grand final. By the way, right, we also got a pretty huge prize pool here for the Gauntlet. 7th place is going to net you a good old-fashioned $53,000 and that ticket to the grand finals. And 8th place nets you 6, right? So good little pretty much almost $50,000 difference there, you know? So that is the worst position to be in. And I'm telling you, you do not want this to be close towards the end. And also, Wolves here, Maxman. Time to wake up, right? It's time to wake up here now.
Of course you would say that, Hodge. Of course you would be the one, please. Hodge, please. Wolves, make it to the finals.
Don't tease me with that, Rondo, right? Don't tease me with it, right? I mean, I was so excited that 0-point game, 1-point game right after, right? I mean, honestly, I'm going to be happy with 7 points from them on this one, right? Put something up.
I mean, they're on the cusp right now. I mean, looking at the leaderboards currently on my screen, I'm seeing Wolves. They have 92 points. Above them, DRX 93. Right above that is 98 points from Ulf. They're currently on a bit of a momentum kind of build up towards the second half of today. If they can keep it going, it's going to be hard to deny that position away from them in top 7. So yeah, I think it's Wolves now. It's down to them. DRX, maybe also Alpha 7, maybe Ulf if they start slowing down for the second half of today. It's tough, man. The competition just above them, Niptra, is going to be crazy. We know with this roster, Wolves have that potential. But can they deal with this kind of pressure? They weather the storm going into these next 3 matches? I don't know, because Miramar, they can be a little bit topsy-turvy. But that's going to be the 2 battlegrounds that they need to perform on if they want to make it in the finals.
It's going to be so difficult to tell, really. I mean, they've been playing okay, but then they just get taken out on rotation. Doran needs to stop going out so early. I think maybe what they need to be doing, maybe the mistake they've been playing so far is like playing a little bit too split, because often we see the players go out 1 by 1 on those rotations and stuff. So I am kind of wondering if it's like a little bit of they're just playing a little bit too split. You know, typically they want to split in the end game. That's perfectly fine. Go for it. That's a great play. But maybe they're starting that just a little too early. Maybe less control in the mid game and then just go for it in the end game.
You know what? Another team I want to try and see a little bit more from Hot Jukes before you send it to this game is Virtus.pro. Generally,
oh my gosh.
Here this game, that's such a good entry point, and they send it to Ulf and they get completely humiliated, to be brutally honest on that one. It was not even a fight. It was so one-sided in favor of Ulf that Virtus.pro, for me, just does not look like the team we witnessed in day one, game one on that Rondo match. Virtus.pro has been falling from grace. It is time to do a comeback, Virtus.pro, because otherwise the finals are just going to be slipping right through their fingers. They need to do something this next game. Erangel, it is your time to perform.
Hey, only 3 matches left to go. This is the last Aaron Gale of the day. Regnum Kari and Virtus.pro are 19 points behind. Chicken dinner right here, right now. Let's see it.
Hey, they're looking for a chicken dinner. Now's the time to do it, you're right. If you want to jump up to the top 7, make sure that you've got that direct ticket to the grand final stage. Then it is all about getting these points in here and now, because the number of slots available is ever dwindling.
Not many left remaining now for teams to pick up and grab as we head further and further towards the end of the gauntlet. We're starting on a Eastern playing path with this one, getting players that drop down towards Sosnovka out nice and early. So it's GK as well as APG being able to take advantage of this one. Whereas teams that might drop over could get a decent start off the back of it. We'll wait for the circle to pop, but it will be our final angle of the day. And it is going to be GS dropping on top of APG. APG with a good start though with the knife. Straight over to
the drop clash, Khali, drop clash.
Between the shoulder blades on that one. Looking to reload the VSS there. It's the only weapon you got. It's what you got to use. Jafar with the pan as well. Turn in the corner. The weaponry superior for APG. It's all up to Jafar to see what he could do. And he is quite far away from the rest of the team. He's got the M4, sure, but he's also got 4 players from APG to deal with. The question is, can he connect or does he just get out of there? See on the cams. They are leaving it up to him. A little bit of a worry that that's how the game starts. Of course, you can't get yourself back up now. And they want to hunt Jafar down. I think they know vaguely the direction he's playing, but I don't think they have the full bead on him. The question is how many, or if any, can he pick up?
Don't
worry, guys.
Not the player you want to be leaving left alive here. It's Jafar. Clutch Maestro himself, but no shotgun in hand, so he's just going to dip off the back of this one. But for APG, what a start for them. This fight has been going back and forth for quite a while. For an opener like that, it is incredible to see. Oh, DBS. Actually, it's DBS and an F4. It's an insane loadout. Never mind. I lied.
No vest, though.
Well, actually, he's got a helmet, which is perfect, right? Because APG only hits heads. So technically, this is the optimal loadout.
Oh, for sure. That's 100% correct. 3 points for APG, though. If they wanted to make a resurgence, that's a great way to start. They've managed to farm 3 points already. They would love that. They would love to have that 4th and remove that thorn from the side and not worry anymore, because you've got to think he's in the hills somewhere. He's always hiding around the next corner. It does slow you down quite a lot. And with the circle being on the mainland out to the west side, we did see that during that fight. You're going to have to get on the road fairly quickly. You've got to be worried that it's not going to go your way if you can't move fast enough.
Yeah, and even so, I think for APG, let's put it into context right now, they need a 15-point average at least if they want to get into top 7. And that's a conservative estimate. So that's 15 points this match, next match, and the match after that. So again, for just to set some expectations here. For OG and DX, gained over the next few matches. The Western shift on the circle, though, OG has a similar rotational path what they had before. His team performance coming through from Ulf, 13th place in day 2, coming into 6th here in day 3 with an unbelievable performance over just game 1 and game 3. A lot of points accrued here, and again, like I said before, getting more into the rhythm of it, which is nice to see.
Certainly is. And if you had to pick 2 Turkish teams, as I was talking about in that last match, to go through in the top 7, it's it's very few people, I think, around the world that would have not put Regnum Kaya as one of those two teams, right? They're down in 11th place. You're talking about DXavier and OG having maybe an outside chance here. For Regnum Kaya, it's, again, just not quite close enough. And for a championship team, for a team that has been at the top of the world before, it is a bit of a misstep. And you were talking before about the potential lack of synergy with Zedwolf.
Yeah, well, I think that they don't play terribly. It's less of a lack of synergy and, like I said, more of a lack of delegation, because I do think that Zedwolf is sort of wasted right now on the team, where they're having him play as a backstop or anchor for the squad, and I just don't think that's his play style. And there was a moment, PMSL EU, where they were using him a lot more of this off-angle player, someone who kind of is the crowbar for the team, breaking open a lot of these plays, and that worked extremely well. And I think you just got to trust him, because he has solo carried teams in the past. It's just, I think it must be weird for him playing on a competent team, where you're still trying to figure out what's your place in the squad, and it also isn't really on the other players to decide that for him.
Kara making their way on that south side, trying to keep that top spot in control. They are the top dogs of the lobby right now, and it's not looking super likely to change, although there are teams knocking down the door. However, they have done enough. They've done plenty in order to get into the top spots there. You can see that 135, there's no way they drop down below 7th place towards the end of the day here. Kara will be seen in those finals, along with ThunderTalk and RA. They are pretty locked in. Mad Bulls, the most unlikely of the very likely teams to be seen in the finals, but at 115, you've got to imagine that that's going to be enough.
Oh, ThunderTalk and Kara going at it. But in the meantime, we're going to take a little recap with Seven over on the stage.
Welcome back to a quick report with the 7WG. This time it's about RA. This squad was just pretty much able to secure their ticket into the grand finals. Earlier in the day, I was talking with Ida and I asked him, if you're in a comfortable position where you can actually hunt down a squad, are you going to do it? And he looked around and he said yes. He didn't want to specify which team it was though. So John and Blank, can we take any guesses? Maybe DRX, maybe Alpha 7? I don't know, because there's a lot of teams trying to make it to top 7 and it's very tight in that department.
I mean, it is all really to play for there in terms of guesses. I mean, at the moment, I think Alpha 7 seem to be fairly safe. 103 with 3 matches to play. You expect them to be able to get 7 points over the rest of the day, and could potentially getting up to that 120 mark. Right? I think really sits in the 2 teams beneath them, from 6th place down to 10th, and then an outside chance of down to 12th. Below that, nah, I'm not backing it.
চান্স আছে এখনো এক ম্যাচ চিকেন বের করলেই
you probably would want to target Alpha 7, right? Because they share a lot of your rotational paths, but you're also definitely correct in terms of it's a team that's hard to push out at this point in time. Right? Especially this being the last Erangel, we didn't see too much aggression from R8 their way. So I don't know. We'll wait and see. Maybe they'll bring out something special on our next match.
A Miramar special over on the desert. Of course, we haven't seen our 2 Miramars at the end of the day, and things do change in terms of dynamics there. We'll have to wait a little bit. Kara losing 2 players in opening salvo on the match. Not ideal. OG moving past Ulf now, and Ulf, as we all know, have been on a tear today. With dangerous territory. The circles shift as well, Blank. This is nasty. Over to the west side of Everest, over towards Hospital, and this is going to get messy over towards it. The nurses are going to have to work overtime.
Well, I mean, for RA, it's wonderful. For starting in South George to move down towards this area of the map, a really easy gameplay for them. But this is bad news for Wolves. I mean, a 3rd time in a row, sort of inexcusable at this point. Losing a player in the first 10 minutes of the game. Amori will find Igors. Yeah, it's just, it's not great. And for Wolves' prospects to get into the top 7, it's feeling like it's starting to get dashed a little bit here. These are initial shots from ThunderTalk at some incredible distance.
Sure,
Bashai.
why not? Show us what you're made of. Show us what you got. There's a reason they are towards the top of the tables.
Apni
Yeah,
kothay?
OG, they've taken a lick on that east side. That approach to the foothills of Everest, not going to go unchallenged. And there's a lot of teams already crunched in here. It was a very, very fast rotate move here into stage 2. Second circle pops up. Wolves diverting out to the west. Arena trying to take shots, but the beachheads just getting in the way. The reload's not quite there in time, and the Wolves draw up on the west side. In a couple of buildings, difficult to leave, but they're very isolated from every other team right now.
Yeah, West Coast's not a terrible place to play for them. At the moment, gives them some options in the future, but the main thing is safety, because they want to disengage from a lot of the action on the squad. Because this was a circle where a lot of teams are going to be moving in from that eastern side, they know that playing on the very west is probably the safest place to be, because the traffic jams are going to be on that eastern edge. APG rotating from the south side. For OG, it's been difficult because they are a team that starts towards the east, and we've had a lot of western circles today.
There's been much more focus over on that part of the map, you're right. So new ground in the lobby. The areas to the south of Georgia Pole. Just peeking over towards that swamp area as well, right on the south edge. We'll see where we end up. Mad Bulls atop the mountain right now, with all 4 of their players alive, I believe, at the top there. And they are the only team to have sent up the slopes. Everyone else playing around in the foothills.
Last player from GS. Jufar doing his best. I mean, he's still in Sosnovka, so I don't think his best is going to be good enough to get up towards the top side. But APG cut clean with all 4 players up. Looking over towards OG, who are leaving from Gaka to head towards the compound that sits under Everest, which is actually not a terrible spot at all for them.
This east side circle shift, though, over towards Everest. I feel like this is going to give Mad Bulls some neighbors. Virtus.pro on the move now behind Ulf as, oh dear, that's not where you want to be drawing short. Can't part there, mate. Aragon have to take flight once more. Milky Way, though, spotted first. It is Solus. Gets shut down. Boston as well. Taken out, and Ulf really not giving any ground. Malloy, the only one to strike back so far, but 2 players left trying to face off against them. Ulf, a big nade over towards the top there, does actually manage to get the flush, so they've lost the player guaranteed, a point at least, but Malloy can't do anything about the rest of them, and Ulf stay alive. But they'll keep on as 3 on the south edge.
I mean, 4 elims is great. Ulf, honestly, it does the trick. They just need a little bit more right on the game now. Even over the next 2 matches, they need probably like a 4 or 5 point average to see themselves safe. This is a wild rotate from the Wolves, by the way, getting over towards this eastern shack. It's not very safe.
APG উপরে ধরে সবচেয়ে বেস্ট
আমার তো মন বলছে এদের ফোন মারা ভালো না ফোন মারা ঠিক মতন কাজ করছে না
ওই যে জিটি
হয়
30 হইতে পারে
আমার তো মন বলছে এটাই
On the west coast, they need to move up north
কোনো
or east or
ভালো ভালো টিমগুলো
anywhere really, but the
পারফরম্যান্স
open
করতে পারছে
fields
না
to the
খারাপ
northwest of
টিমগুলো
Gakka,
ওরকম
where
কোনো
we saw Ulf
পারফরম্যান্স
start to post up and win that fight
ওদের দিক
just
থেকেও
now.
নাই
I
লাখ
mean, that's
22
so
লাখ
open. It's so difficult to move there. And the arena set up to your north and the buildings up that direction. Where do you go at this point? If you're Geeke, you have to take a fight. The question is which one?
Yes.
For Geeke, it's a really horrible option of, do you swing through the fields, which as you know is going to be a ton of sightlines looking over towards the west side, or do you try and take one of these fights over towards the north? And that's sort of your option. I mean, Wolves massively cut down on their losses there by getting that early rotate in. Making this rotate now would be really quite dangerous. Defense does find Coops though on the outside. So that's 1 down for Wolves already. Good shots from Aaron over towards Geeke.
I mean, they're having flashbacks to last time on the Erangel open ground where Geeke rolled up on him and Ulf went crumbling. Fortunately, this time they find them at the start. And they've established already that line. There are a lot more spread, a lot of different situations to unfold here. Scarface may be in danger here, but the arena actually could tag on for a third party, make their life a little bit trickier on that southwest side. 3 teams trying to move in from that direction. There's a fight for the center as well. Srek and Kaya, DRX Gonna clash. It looks like Regnum Kaya lose their east side outpost on that one, Blank.
Yeah, I mean, for Regnum Kaya, this is a pretty good spot, to be honest. Trying to play out from this area, though, down towards the south side is a little bit more difficult. Maple's pretty frustrated with the way this one worked out. Their saving grace is that APG is going to be other teams looking their way. Final players from GK are starting to fall here. Ran out of ammo, but SafG likely to go down to the blue here if he can't get a med off quick enough, and he absolutely does. And that is GK out. And 7 elims right now for Ulf. They are going further beyond, which is great to see.
Now they have E-Arena here. Maybe a couple more points for them, but remember, they're still playing as 3. E-Arena as 4. Tony K can't quite connect on the bumper, but will with the shotgun shutdown, and Ketch is next to go. E-Arena able to find 2. Now the last player to stand, it's Aaron. The newest addition to the roster here. And Ulf need to rely on him now. But do they just want to get out of there? Try and send the way into the bucket, play the terrain. Smoke has bloomed on the off angle, but it's not going to be necessary. Plays the dips and moves on in. A solo pursuit now for the last player in Ulf.
I think I can't believe too far still in the game, but
yes.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to play in, especially if you get rocked up on like that. It's one of the few areas in the field where you can have some form of cover to work with. Aaron slowly rocks up over towards APG, but Doc spots that out immediately and will find the flush on that one. So Ulf goes down, but 7 elims in pocket. We're talking about 4, 6, 7. You got 7 elims on this game. That's all you really need to continue posting up those points. Now it's a way easier scenario.
জানে ইনফরমেশন আছে উপরে মেডাল সেটা জানে
7
উপরে থাকা দরকার ছিল একবার উপরে তাহলে পুরো জায়গা এরিয়া কভার করে ফেলতে পারতাম
up to 105. They haven't got any elims yet, and they're playing from South George on the border. Sure. Oh, get out from underneath there. Doesn't need an inspection just yet. It's got its MOT already. He's out running over his teammate. Not friendly. But on the north side, they do have a difficult approach here up to the ridge lines around Hospital. They could maybe find that mound that sits there, but with Regnum Kaya on the other side, it's a bit of a silhouette that you're going to make as you try and make your way up there. For Alpha 7, that's tricky.
It's an interesting circle because there are several positions which are very dominant here, where it could hard shift over towards Hospital, Kara's compound on the west, central compound from DX Xavier. It could head over towards Everest, in which case Mad Balls as well as APG have a good time. It could go down towards the south side, in which case Underdog's compound suddenly becomes very, very strong. There's a lot of different scenarios here that can take place, which drastically change the pace of the game for any one particular team. So we'll wait and see. I really think it's sort of stage 5, stage 6, which is going to define how this game goes down.
It's very different scenario we saw from OG,
GK, and Alpha 7, where there really wasn't anywhere to play. It was super scrappy, but here there is some definitive spots on the map which are very playable.
Stage 4.
Question of who's going to be able to control them, and
maybe who's going to try and control them once. একবার এদিক যাচ্ছে একবার ওদিক যাচ্ছে
ওদের একদম টপে থাকা দরকার
a little bit happier. Next zone will come through, really start to cut out some of those points that you talked about
এখন
before.
যেভাবে হোক মেডদেরকে আটকাতে হবে যদি না আটকাতে পারে তাহলে মেড ওদের জায়গা নিয়ে নেবে
এই যে ম্যাড আসতেছে আমি পুশ দিব
Massively good for them. Wolves though, teams are blasting in. It's Alpha 7 will take down 1 in battle.
টিটি ভালো জায়গায় আছে টিটি জোন খুবই
I believe for Wolves, and the shots are coming in thick and fast from across the way as APG tries to pull up that 15-point average.
টিটি সুন্দর একটা জায়গা আছে
Coming back from Coops there will shut
down a
player from
APG.
Mad Bulls have angles from the top of Everest as well over towards Alpha 7. And this is a firing squad over
Mad দেখছো আরাম সে মারবে আরাম
gone down already, to be honest, Blank.
আরাম সে মারবে এখন লাস্ট
Can't really afford to be losing out here. The number of points that they've been able to earn, I don't even know if they've got any elims so far. OG, in the meantime, trying to mount the Everest approach. It's not going to go well. They're immediately turned away at the door. And APG, I don't think that they're going to miss that shot to Aru. No, indeed they don't. And up they push. That's going to be done.
kill churi.
Yeah, Tanky just has to send further in towards the circle, try and find somewhere to stay. A lot of teams aren't going to pass through that position anyway, and it's close enough to DX that he has a little bit of support from them. So it's okay.
TT knock দিছে
Thundertork
knock
continuing to take
দিছে
shots over towards him, trying to see if they can find those angles. Kara right now in between them and E Arena. Just Marso here remaining for the squad. Has nades to work with.
See what you can do. Arena reluctant to go for the pushes, but they've got 2 nades cooking. Okay,
Nice.
Sakura's molly able to tag him on, gets the burn down. That is going to be Kara down.
শেষ
They've done enough. They don't need to do
DRX
any
পেজ
more.
দিয়ে
Unless
উঠছে
they want to
DRX যদি
chunk
থার্ড
out
পার্টি
some more
মেরে
of that
দেয়
prize
তাও
money, which of course is a tasty treat.
এবিজি
But it's
একটু
most
হয়ে যাবে
sights set
মাঝখানে
on
এখানে
those
নেটবার
DRX
কোনো
to
লাভ
move
আছে
up, control the Mad Bulls on their descent.
এটা সাইড দিয়ে কর্নার করে মার
From the top of Everest in a
তাইলেই
way that
ফুটে
maybe they'd have liked to here, Blank.
ওরে ডিআরএক্স আছে পিছন দিক দিয়ে ম্যাট তো প্রোগ্রাম
Get shut down.
ওটাই তো বলছি তুমি স্লো
ম্যাটের অবস্থা
দেখছো
খারাপ
তুমি স্লো দেখছো
Which is the main thing. I think Mad Bulls
বাইরে এপিজির উচিত আমি বাইরে যাও গাড়ি গুড়ি থাকলে
descent, like you say, came a little bit.
কই যাবে বাড়ি জায়গায় নাই জন্য
It was very unlikely
টিটিও নাই
to head all the way to the top of Everest, but a good push from Mad
টিটিও
Bulls down
আসছে
the hill. This is an instant
এই ম্যাটে ঢুকছে ইয়ার ভিতরে A7 এর ভিতরে
DRX versus APG
coming through.
TD
টিটিও আছে উপরে
होगा हमारा सारा
টপ শেষ টপ ধরা গেছে যে হলো শেষ হইব এখন
We'll see if they're able to do it. Alpha 7 do fall. They get up to 107 total on their game. Should still be enough to keep them ticking over. We'll see what more they can do. The Wolves, who are behind,
বাইরে টপে বাইচা আছে লাকের জোরে
right now.
শেষ শেষ ওকে
শেষ শেষ
করে দিয়েছে
are starting to mount their bid for that 7th place spot. With the Wolves falling by the wayside, this is their
বারা জায়গা ধরেছে
You're absolutely right.
মেন জামাল হলো জোন বুঝলা
জোন হলো আমি জানছি যে উপরে টিম আছে তাহলে আমি কেনই করব এটা ফাইট লড়ে লিলই না ফাইট লিয়া দরকার ছিল উপরে ক্লিয়ার করলে ম্যাটদের ক্লিয়ার করলে আরামসে আস্তে আস্তে নামতে পারতো
So we could be locking things in really
গাড়ি
early
লিয়া
here,
কই যাবে
John.
ফেলাই দিবে
Depends
তো
how well this escape, this exit
সেকে
is
ঢুকতে
for
পারলে তো লাভ
DRX.
আছে
Yeah, okay, there we go. Finally, one goes
জল বাচ্চা কপালে ধরে সামনে সামনে বসে শুয়েছে সামনে টেডিএক্স এ দাঁড়িয়ে দিছে ঢুকেছে ভিতরে ঢুকেছে
fire from the top of the mountain. This flex out from Thundertalk has caused them so much trouble.
Yeah, I think for
Right, Mori.
it's a very smart decision to push up the hillside here because they had a
Man.
massive amount of cover to work with.
TT ready sell number
Right now looking to get ahead of the guys from DRX,
Yes.
but it's not meant to be. Is another well-placed grenade from R8 will push R8 even further up the tables.
Guys,
DRX sent in, but it's just one player. He will be taken out fairly short in order. That's so easy.
DXS.
Ida takes a knock, but should be able to be rezzed back up again.
DRX or 2 man.
It's just now one player left on the back lines for DRX, really. There's nothing more doing. They know he's in the hills somewhere, just the question of where. Prestige is on the hunt. He's scanning that horizon. Oh, goodness me. That is going to be a nasty situation for QXZ to find himself in. And right next to Thundertalk 2, King is there rolling down, spots him, darts out the way. QXZ looks for the challenge, but it is going to be one out in the end by Thundertalk. But up steps R8 as he gets the knock back in response. And I don't think Thundertalk is going to be able to reclaim that player. That might be them done and dusted, actually, as they lost their downstairs part.
Multi-talented.
So, and Thundertalk, if you told me that Thundertalk would be in third place at the end of yesterday, I don't think I would have, well, at the start of yesterday, I don't think I would have believed you at all. But I think that it is crazy how much of a good performance R8 has been able to put up, as well as Kara. I mean, I had a lot of hopes for R8 coming into this tournament at the beginning, and it's really nice to see that they've been one of the few exceptional teams throughout every single day. Yes, Kara had like the most incredible performance on day 2, but R8 has just been steady, consistent through day 1, day 2, and day 3, and it is paying off now as they catch up to Kara and maybe even pass them in this game.
Ooh, shut down there coming through DX Xavier.
ইয়ারিনা তো ভালোই ভালোই জায়গা ধরে রেখেছে
সুন্দর একটা জায়গা একবার আছে অরেঞ্জ খেলা সমস্যা না আমার ফোন একবারে কোনো ড্যামেজ একবারে সমস্যা আর আমার তো দুগুদি আমি করতাম
Bombs to the elimination tally of DX Xavier, and this is how they make the bid for it. Irina trying to third
ছোটমণিও টিকেট কাটি
there's
দিছেন হইছেন
nothing
নি
to third party on anymore. There's nothing being done
7 তারিখ
to DX Xavier on this hold.
আমি
Lambor's
তান্ডারে ঢাকা
isolated
দিয়ে
sure,
রিসিভ
but
করা
with
লাগবে
only 2 players on the
ভাইয়ার
in the
বিয়ে করে
it's not
দিলাইছি
gonna
রাতে রাতে টিকেট করে দিলাম
Incredibly speedy cleanup from DX
ছোটমণি আমি
আরে
চলে যাওয়া লাগবে just on the cusp
না ছোটমণি খাইলাম কইলে কি রাতে 11টা 7 তারিখ আর পরদিন সকালে তারা ট্রানজিটে ফ্লাইট হলো কি 8:30
এপিজির একটা চিকেন
আমি
লেয়ার দরকার
ইহানার আব্বারে কইছি যে আপনি আমারে ও ছোটমণির যে ফ্লাইট ও ট্রানজিট ফ্লাইট আপনি আমারে ডোমেস্টিক পাঠিয়ে দিলিবা ওটাও আর ছোটমণির আমি রাত্রে গিয়ে রিসিভ আমি তো যেই মুভি সকালকো ট্রেনে গিয়ে
ছোটমণি জ্বালা
বুকিং দিয়ে রাখি দিচ্ছি আর হোটেলে টেনশন কইবা ছোটমণি রাত্রে বেশি পরে হোটেলে লইয়া যাই মো রাত্রে টেনে রেস্ট করে ঘুমাইয়া সকাল বার ইয়া ডোমেস্টিক ফ্লাইটে লিয়া
ছোটমণি
মানে ডোমেস্টিক ফ্লাইট আর কি যে সময় 1 ঘন্টা আগে
বালা করিয়া দেখি তিরোটি বাত
DX Xavier have 12 nades on
না
site.
কথা কইরা
ও ডোমেস্টিক আমার সময় কোনো প্রবলেম হয় না ছোটমণিকে ট্রানজিট আমার সময় যদি ছোটমণি তো আমি
এই কথা শুনে লাগছে
কিন্তু দুইটা বেশি আনতা না একটু হয়তো 2025 আমার নামে হারাই দিমু আর কেজি বেশি থাকলে মনে কর 1500 টাকা চার্জ চাইলে দুদূর আমার কোনো ইন্টারন্যাশনাল
নক জানতা বেশ সুন্দর
Technically, yes.
Might be the right play.
ভিতরে ফালা
An immediate shutdown as DX
আরে
Xavier
না
close us out. I think they got up to 9 eliminations there playing.
খেলেছে যা খেলেছে ভালো খেলেছে খারাপ খেলে
রূপাস রে রূপিচ্ছা
রূপাস ভালো খেলছে না বারা ওকে বসে দেওয়া উচিত
Not just yet, but we are getting in towards
রূপেচ্ছা বুঝতেই পারে ইস্টে ঢুকা বেটার
রূপাসকে বেঞ্চ করে দেওয়া উচিত
is on the line and they're not doing bad all things considered. Today it looks a lot better than it did over
আর উচিত ছিল বাগি ছিল কিন্তু একটা ফ্রেশ বাগি ছিল এই জন সাইডে যে বোমা বয়েজের ভিতরে বাইরে উচিত ছিল
battling for that top side, but that is a difficult
ডিএক্স চিকেন বের করে ফেলছে ইয়া শেষ ডিআরএক্স 6 শেষ আর কি
the middle right there, and it's just an easy compound to play from. So much open space around it. It's fairly easy to nade out the garage. It's not the one you hold.
And another big game from RA as well. That's now 2 in a row. They've had a big impact on Blank.
সবাই তো দেখছি চিকেন বের করছে শুধু এপিজি গেল না
the top of those tables. Looks like
এপিজি আছে ভিপি আছে ইয়া আছে
না ভিপি মানে চিকেন পেয়েছে প্রথম ম্যাচে মানে চিকেন পেয়েছে প্রথম দিনেই
ভিপি
হ্যাঁ
তাও একবার লাস্টে চিকেন পায়
হ্যাঁ ওই যে টিটিরে মারলো ওরান্ডোতে নদীর ওই পারে আলফা 7 ছিল আমি তো দেখছিলাম খেলা টুম্যান এই পারে টুম্যান ওই পারে ছিল মারলো
লাম্বরগিনি
ও বাড়ায়
যত যাই কেন ডং কইরালো তোরা ইয়া ট্রফি লিতে না
Couldn't have been at a more
ঠিক
crucial
আছে
time
বাড়ালাম বাই
indeed,
বাই
John, man. DX Xavier, they needed a big performance so bad here, Max, man. They end
Okay
up
guys,
rotating
tada
here
bye
to this
bye.
building
Allah
and
Hafiz,
clutching
দেখা
it
হবে